And welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Still in a bashing time.
Okay. And James Farley.
Hello.
Hello. It's going to be a bit different this week, I think. Not totally different. We're going to still do the news, what you've been playing, and reading your emails and feedback and all that. But the end of the show is going to be dedicated to James Farley, who has finally completed Heavy Rain. I'm assuming you want to talk about it and what you've been playing.
Yeah.
We'll do sort of a brief summary of your thoughts of the game without doing any spoilers. And then after the closing show music, we will properly get into James's playthrough because there is a lot to talk about. If you've played through Heavy Rain, then definitely listen to the end of it and go and watch James's. If you can't be bothered to watch the whole streams, they're about an hour long. Then watch the edited versions on our YouTube channel. You can find us by just going on YouTube and searching the Computer Game Show. We're on there. And if you have no intention on playing that game, then definitely watch James's playthrough and then listen to the spoiler stuff at the end. And yeah, if you're going to play that game, then just play it now. Get it over with. Get on YouTube. Like and subscribe. We won't. I nearly said John's catchphrase, but I won't. Matt, has there been much feedback from last week's show?
There has. I mean, I'll say 80% of the feedback is around James Farley and Heavy Rain. So we'll save that. We'll save that. I mean, yeah, suffice to say, there was a lot of emotions that went on. But yeah, we'll save that for the end. Okay.
Did a little bit of a tease there, Matt. A little bit of a tease. Yeah. I like it. You're picking up stuff from radio.
There's a lot of lots of various subjects on the follow-up this week. First of all, there's a discussion of Banjo Kazooie and the fact that Dave said he completed it 25 times.
It's 25 times, baby.
25 times, yeah. Although there was a time that we played games in a week, Dave, and you did say 64 times, didn't you?
Well, yeah, because we were talking about the N64. It was a slip of the tongue. I mean, everyone does that, don't they?
And 64 times. Anyway, Andy Hamilton has been on the case, and he says that basically Banjo-Kazooie takes around 7 to 10 hours to reach the finish, significantly more if you go over 100% completion. So that's about 175 hours of Banjo-Kazooie.
Well, I mean,
sounds like a lot.
Does it for a kid? When did it come out? What year did it come out? 90 something, wasn't it?
Yeah, 90s.
Right. So, I mean, 175 hours on a single game. Not to mention that playtime is significantly cut down. If you know the game like the back of your hand. I mean, here's the thing. It was just something that I remembered doing as a kid. I remember thinking, this is my 20th time, and then thinking, I'm going to play again. And then I got to 25 and stopped. That's what I remember. Whether that actually happened or not, I don't know. But that's the memory I've got for it.
You're backtracking now. So you're saying that you're not sure if it did really happen. You're saying that's your memory of it happening.
James, I don't care if it happened. All right, if you want to say it didn't happen, that's
if
fine.
I'd have said that, you'd have been all over me about that, like saying, "Oh, you're changing your story now," and now you're changing it.
Okay, all right. I'm okay. Here's what I remember. I remember completing it 25 times. I've got no way of proving that. I don't really care about proving it. It's just something that happened.
The line now.
I said, as I said,
would your dad remember?
What I like is that you're going 175 hours. Matt, you've put in triple that in Destiny, and you have a lot less time than I did when I was a kid. Right, for starters.
See, I think we've got a live stream here. Like you could do. I reckon we could see just how quickly you can finish it in.
Well, I haven't played it for God. Well,
so,
I played I could probably do the starting level like in about 22 seconds. But
22. Okay, that sounds like a challenge. 22
what
seconds.
What are you trying to do? I don't get what you're trying to do here.
You're trying to say that you're like this big expert who's like finished it 25 times and everything.
No one said I was an expert.
That's exactly what you were saying. You were saying you're amazing at it. Yeah.
Did I say?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
When Andy said it takes between 7 and 10 hours, you tweeted that probably a bit less than that because you were good at it. So
no, that's not what I said at all. I said probably a little bit less than that because I'd played it so much.
Well, if you played it so much, then you wouldn't mind like streaming it, maybe, and then like
James,
we can see.
It was a long time ago. I don't understand what you're jumping on this for.
I don't get that because the thing is like it came out on the 360, and I know for a fact that you bought it, so you must have played it since.
Yeah,
so,
I played like the first 2 or 3 levels since and went, actually, this is an old game that I played 25 times.
25 times already, I don't need to play it anymore.
I'm not going to do it 26
Here's the thing, like,
crazy.
I remember, like, I've said this on Twitter, so it's probably old news, but I remember buying an N64 magazine with a N64 cartridge holder. Do you remember them, Sean?
Yeah.
They were just like little bits of plastic that you put your cartridge in next to your N64. It had 6 slots in it, and I remember, like, specifically that I never filled that 6 game slot because my parents never bought me games, so it was just that if you wanted a new game you had to trade a couple of old games in to get the new one and stuff like that, right? Yeah. So the fact that I probably had 4 to 5 games for the N64 at one time during that period of my life, chances are I'd have played that game, one of those games, a fuck ton. And Banjo Kazooie was one of them. What I don't get is that, okay, what do you want me to say? I didn't complete it 25 times, guys. Sorry.
No, I don't want you to do that.
Because it's not an achievement. It's not something to be proud of. I'm not exactly going, I'm an expert. I've never said that. I don't know where you're getting that from, James.
You did seem pretty proud of it earlier on. You were sort of like,
when did I seem proud of it?
You seemed pretty proud of it last week. You were like tossing around that you'd done it, in that amount of time. So,
what amount of time?
No, that you've done it 25 times, which is, quite a big
Well, I just
claim.
said that's what I remember. I remember completing it 25 times. I'm pretty sure I did, but I couldn't. I mean, I was a kid. I don't know. James, I don't. What do you want from me, mate?
I want you to live stream
What would make this better?
I want you to.
You want me to live stream
it? Yeah, I want you to live stream it. I want you to finish the game as quickly as you can on Twitch.
For
but
26
what's that going to prove? So what are you getting out of that? What's the goal?
The enjoyment of watching you try and do it.
Try and do what? Complete the game?
Yeah, try and finish it in under 7 hours.
Well, wait, okay, why is that? I never said that I could complete it under 7 hours.
No,
I mean, I'll give it a go, sure, if that's what you want.
Yeah,
if that's what will cheer you up, I'll try and complete it under 7 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll try and do that. Hopefully the Kinect isn't too shit for live streaming now, because I've only got it on the Xbox One. But, I mean, I can give it a go. If it make you happy, James.
It really would.
I'm not
It'd make me really happy if you could do that.
Why?
It just would.
Why?
It just make me happy.
No, that's the sort of answer that my son gives me. This is like talking to my 3-year-old son. Why would it make you happy, James? Why would that make you happy?
It make me happy because I just like to see if you can do it, David. Because
I can do what?
No, because you do this. You're always talking about like this stuff. You're always going on about how great you were at that game and all that kind of stuff. I want to see if it's true.
Sean, what? Sean,
it's true.
Sean, come on, mate, back me up. Have I ever gone on about how great I am at Banjo Kazooie?
Yes,
he's never said that, James.
That's
He just
not
said
true.
he played. He just said he played it loads. He never said he was good.
Well, okay. He's always going on about how much he played it. So I just want to see him play it. What's wrong with that?
It's weird. It's weird that you and Matt have latched onto this. I think what's happened is that you've misjudged what to go for in situations like this. You've misjudged what to pounce on.
Now you're just backtracking to try and make yourself look better.
How have I backtracked anything?
No, you're just trying to turn it back on us and making it seem like it's really weird that you said you completed Banjo Kazooie 25 times. I mean, that's a very specific number, to have said you've done.
Okay, so okay, it was 24 times. Would that make things better for you, James?
What do you remember it to be, David?
Oh, tell you what, I remember it to be 12 times. Is 12 times okay? 6 times. Is 6 times okay, James, for you? Is that going to calm you down?
It's nothing to do with that. It's to the fact that you last week very specifically had said that you'd finished it 25 times, and it's
James. You're a doctor now, and you're obsessing over how many times I've completed Banjo Kazooie.
Matt,
I don't know what you want.
Can't say something, Matt. Why just leave it to me?
Yeah, Matt has totally
realised how weird it's got.
Totally stitched me up again.
No,
he's jumped out of the traffic. He's jumped away from the traffic. I just let James get run over.
That's it. I'm done. Well, no, I mean, like, anyone saying, I completed that game 25 times. It's just like, that's something I'd hear in school.
Yeah.
Are you impressed by that? Would that be impressive? If I completed it 25 times, say I genuinely did.
This guy's bullshitting. Because he literally counted every time. Okay, that's another one. That's another notch. Put that in the spreadsheet. 25 times, just too specific.
Okay, I'm bullshitting. If that makes you feel better, I'm bullshitting.
Finally, you admit it. Great, let's move on.
I don't know what you want. It's just something I remembered. Oh, you didn't push that man in a shit pit in Scouts.
It was a weird
You didn't get pegged out at Scouts. Prove it. No, I don't want to prove. This is just a story I remember from when I was a kid. Oh, you didn't do that. Prove it. Am I going to have to go through everything I say now?
Is if I'd have said this, you'd have been going at me just as hard, if not harder, about this. And
Matt,
then if I started, if I then started to backtrack,
no, yeah, go on. I'm not backtracking.
You are. How are you not? You keep saying You just said, oh, okay, just forget it.
I'm just trying to silence the weirdo in the room.
Dave, just put an end to this. Did you complete it 25 times and you know for a fact, or did you not? Or did you just complete it a bunch of times?
I specifically remember saying to myself in my bedroom, "This is the 25th time I've completed
getting weird.
It wasn't just it's only getting weird because you got
David. I've just completed it for the 25th time. Congratulations, me.
Okay, Matt. If this was me backtracking, the only reason I'm doing that, James, is because if a nutter comes up to you in the street and tells you that the sun is green, you go, yeah, it is green, isn't it, mate? All right, bye. That's the similar sort of thing that's going on here.
No. To compare that, that's like going, if you're in HMV, someone come up to you saying, oh, Shawshank Redemption, I've watched that 25 times. Watched it. It's
exactly.
That's the similarity.
Yeah, but then if someone did that, you wouldn't go, no, you didn't, you fucking liar.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
We should have just walked away from David's original insane statement, and then everything would have been fine.
You should have just walked away from the beginning and just gone, oh, right, that's something he did, but why
he's one of those weirdos that counts
Let me ask you this. Is it really that strange? Sean, while we're talking, can you search to see when Banjo Kazooie originally come out? Remembering that I had it a month before. Is it really that strange for a kid to complete a game that many times? Genuinely. When you were younger and you had you have very limited amount of games available to you. Oh, not James because he's middle class.
That's complete nonsense.
But Matt, well, James, come on, you just Dad, I need a new game, but I bought you one this morning. Yeah, but I want another one now. Oh, okay, son.
Our parents never bought me any games. But go on.
As long as you become a doctor, it was like
you're knowing me for this.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that someone had to play the same game over and over again to keep them entertained with the endless amount of hours you had when you were at school. That is not bizarre behaviour.
That is not out of the question. It's just a number.
Thanks.
Let's move on.
Came out in July 1998.
So 98, so I would have been 14. 14. You're having a go at a 14-year-old right now.
Actually, if anything, that makes it weirder. I don't know. If you're like 10, 11, 12, yeah, what else you could do? 14, you should have been out drinking cider somewhere.
How comes you've... No, we're not. I lived in a better area than you, Matt.
Oh, well, it's very different on Seaside. That's what you have to do.
All right, okay, fine. So
Frosty Jack's on the beach. So Dave's a liar. Let's move on. Okay. Walnut soup. It basically, we spoke about the apparent patchiness of Nintendo Switch local multiplayer. I've had loads of issues. Other people have had issues with Splatoon and whatnot. Paul Watson, Walnut Soup says, rewires play. You do know you can play Mario Kart in a local mode over a Wi-Fi network. On the main menu, click in the left stick and hold L1 and R1. Now, we tried that as well and it also had issues, but apparently a local Wi-Fi network is much more stable. But
it shouldn't need to be.
That's a little tip.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be a secret option as well.
It makes sense. That makes sense, but you should. You didn't have to do that on your fucking DS, did you? You never had to do that.
Yeah, just worked.
Whatever. Go on.
Okay. We've also got some feedback from Chris O'Regan. Listen to Computer Game Pod and marvelling about how they talked about Splatoon 2 for so long, yet never once mentioned the core game mechanics. As far as I can gather, the game involves paint and each player has a colour they spray on areas of the map. Other than that, I have no clue. Right,
okay, firstly, Chris, you do know. What are you being like that for? You know exactly what you do in Splatoon. Don't talk bollocks. Come on, mate. Secondly, if you don't know what the basic core mechanics are for... I mean, what do you mean? How much detail do we go into? I thought we did really well with getting across what we thought of Splatoon last week.
Last week we were very excited. We talked about loads of different features, but I'm fairly sure Sean did mention some of the more basic mechanics even the week before. Splatoon early.
And we did. We also talked about the different game modes and stuff like that. Pretty certain we did that at some point.
Also, this is a podcast. We're not gonna just if we're just telling you things that you could get from trailers, then. Yeah, we're not really doing our jobs properly. Or, if it was an unusual game that maybe not many people had played, and also wasn't a sequel to a very popular game, then we might feel the need to explain it from the ground up. But with something like Splatoon, it's embedded well enough that I really don't think we needed to do that.
Two further points. Two further points. If you don't know what Splatoon is and what type of game it is and what the idea is behind it, then you probably ain't hunting down and listening to a computer game podcast, right? That's the first thing. And I've made an assumption there, and fair enough. Okay. The other point is, Chris, who the fuck do you think you are, right? I ain't being funny, mate, but you're coming at us and telling us how to run a podcast. Have a word with yourself, Chris. Go back and think about what you've just done. Okay? Good. Sorry,
James.
Think
about what you've done and polish your GMA nomination.
Polish your GMA nomination, which
we were not even bothered.
Clearly, they've made a mistake. They put Spong, then accidentally said Sausage Factory.
How excited
they meant
was
computer
I,
game show. It'd be interesting this year. I don't even think
GMA nomination day. I was like, Dave, oh my god, it says Spong. I think that could be. No, it wasn't us.
It was not us. James, what were you saying? Sorry,
no. It's just following on from what Sean said. It's like. It isn't like an obscure indie game, that.
It's Nintendo's new first party title.
I can't wait until Mario Odyssey comes out. Should we do 2 podcasts? Should we do one for everyone and one for Chris?
Yeah,
where we go. So Mario is a plumber that lives in the
red hat, and he jumps and. Here's the exciting thing. He's not just jumping to elevate himself in midair. No. Oh, no. What he does is when he jumps and he lands, you got to land a jump perfectly on an enemy's head and then they just fall over. But that means
Matt,
they're dead,
and he's fucking shit at Mario. So, if he knows the mechanics. Listen, I could be completely wrong at this point. Maybe we did miss out chunks of information that people wanted to hear. If that's the case, then please tweet us at Computer Game Pod, and we'll come back to this next week in next week's feedback. If you think Chris is a donut, then just tweet us Chris is a donut, and then we'll just retweet all of those. Let's see how he likes it with his feedback.
Yeah, we do. We maybe wrongly assume there'll be a level of intelligence that you would know what Splatoon is. But if it isn't, then sure, let us know.
That's a bit harsh.
Chris, and if you're listening...
No, I'm talking about the general listeners, that generally they would understand and know what Splatoon is. If they don't, and we need to go into more detail, then we'll do that.
Chris, if you're listening, right, I genuinely mean this. If you want to tweet us once a week with comments about how we can improve our podcast, then please do. I will turn this into a weekly feature, because I've enjoyed that.
but it can't be the new Transters. I mean, there's only one lot of feedback.
Yeah, but Transters is my boy. He's all right.
Where was he last week? Anyway, that's it for Chris. We've got one more bit of feedback from Justice Blomberg. Sorry, I fucked up last time. Thank you for the compliment on my name. Let's face it, James is the coolest name in the world thanks to the Bond movies, so you have me beat there. I love what you, James, bring to the show, but you do need to do your job better.
Hang on, wait a minute, right?
This is feedback.
No, I'd already selected this for emails after the show, and I was considering not reading it because of this. I was going to filter this one.
Matt, good job that you didn't, good job you kept this in.
This is going to get filtered, and then you've just read it out.
I'm starting to worry now that James is
that's why James wanted to do the emails.
Yeah.
That's why he insisted he put them in the doc, not me this week.
No.
Anyway, before you start the show, James, do some prep work. Read all the emails and tweets and pick beforehand what you're going to read.
I did, and that's why I was not going to select yours.
James, I'm still talking. If the others don't agree with them, tell them it's your job and you're doing it anyway. If that's not good enough, then they might as well do it. Like you, I don't do well in spontaneous arguments, but what I do...
James, he's right. You are terrible.
James, But what I do is I always do my jobs well and to the best of my abilities.
I'm trying to delete this from the doc, but it won't let me for some reason. Which is,
I mean, I'm in Gmail, mate. You can't.
On the odd James, at least you can spell spontaneous.
Good point, James. You you panic when you completely panic when you enter an argument. It's really funny. I think you just get too emotionally involved with it, and you just fumble your words. And then you come out looking like an idiot every time. Like with the whole 25 games thing. By the end of it, Matt abandoned you.
I know.
Yeah, 25 games abandoned.
Can I just point out there was an extra bit to that email, and James has just deleted it all. He's just removed it from the document.
I've still got it. You can't delete it on my screen.
Well, it didn't need to be in the emails bit, did it? Because you're asking me to filter this stuff, so I start trying to filter it, and then Matt just takes it and reads it anyway.
No, James, I'm just reading a follow-up bit. The other bit I was leaving for the email section, which is
also, James, there's a difference between filtering and censoring. We're going to have a bit of a off-air discussion about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean. And nothing happened to Nintendo this week.
And Nintendo had a great online service.
Have you tried the app? It's awesome.
Sean, the Switch is selling well, Bell.
It's funny you should say that.
To be fair.
Can we get on to news?
That is very much it for follow-up. There was so much more about the streams we're doing in a week and James's work, but we'll talk about that later. If you want to email us, it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at computergamepod for all of your feedback needs.
Sean, it's all you, mate.
The Nintendo Switch, the best console in the world, has sold 4.7 million units in 4 months. Now, that in and of itself is pretty good. The main reason I wanted to mention this is that Mario Kart 8 has shifted 3.5 million.
I know, it's insane, isn't it? That was the stat that stood out for me.
Yeah,
because I was just thinking, oh my, that's not even a new game. That's a rehashed title, and it's absolutely caned it.
Yeah, and because we were all a bit like, if you didn't play it on Wii U, maybe a lot of people are going to pick it up, I guess. No, that's a decent attach rate. That is.
I could be remembering wrong, but we were pretty positive about. We were saying that it'd do well, right? Because we were all buying it anyway. And
about the Switch or Mario Kart specifically.
About Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
We sort of went back and forth with the Switch because initially we were going, this is going to sell incredibly well, and then when all of the weird shit come out after the initial announcement, we were like, oh, do you remember there was that? It was the initial trailer. We were going crazy and saying this is Nintendo are back, and then they did that direct about it, and it was a total fucking mess.
Yeah,
and we were thinking, oh, maybe not, because
they unveiled their actual lineup. Well, the launch lineup was basically Zelda and a big shrug. And then they did that presentation, which was all the indie stuff, and that sort of brought us back a bit, but it was still kind of right, so there's basically one proper game every 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's slowly filled in since then, but initially it looked really
because it was really good, and there's one more where we're like, oh, so it's just Zelda and 1-2 Switch looks rubbish, and then the indie one was in launch week, wasn't it? And that actually got me, I was getting one anyway, but that definitely got me a bit more pumped.
Yeah,
and the price announcement as well made us go, ooh.
Oh yeah, because we thought that leak said it was going to be £3 or whatever, and so
well, it was supposed to be $1.99, wasn't it? That's what we were told, and then it came out at 330, was it?
No, it
was it 330? 230?
280, wasn't it?
It was 280. Yeah.
Oh, 280. Sorry. Yeah.
Because we were hoping it was going to be 199 or something like that.
Yeah. No. Oh well. It seems like nothing can slow Nintendo down now. Not even terrible apps. So no, I'm glad it's doing well. As we've said time and time again, a good Nintendo is good for business. It means that they're going to be bringing out a lot more games for it than they would have done for the Wii U.
But not too good, because then we get stuff like Wii Music and things like that, and vitality sensors and things like that.
They were clearly going for an audience with that stuff. It feels less like Nintendo are now, let's try and get everyone. And they're sort of focusing on games like ARMS and Splatoon, and they're the games that they've sort of launched with this console. And the one game where they were saying, let's try and get everyone involved, was 1-2-Switch. And I mean, I don't know if that sold well or what, but it certainly didn't. The reception to it wasn't that great, and you never see anyone mention it anymore. So maybe they will be focusing on cool stuff again.
Yeah,
we can only hope.
Speaking of the app and whatnot, they've also announced this week, I'm not sure if it's Nintendo or... No, it's a company called Sensor Tower, and they're a mobile applications analytics platform looking at downloads and whatnot. And according to these estimates, the app's only been downloaded 780,000 times, 400,000 on the Apple Store, and 380,000 from Android devices, which making it only 17% of users have actually downloaded the app.
I mean, I suppose the measure you want is like what percentage is that of Splatoon owners, I guess. But
and also, I think as James said,
how many people are actually using it? It's still because
like what I think they'll find is that a lot of Splatoon players are using the Splatoon stuff, but no one's using it for voice chat.
I use the Splatoon stuff only to order things. That is it. I mean, as I said, it feels just so sluggish to do everything on it. And I mean, it is, milliseconds between flicking between screens and stuff. So maybe I'm just being impatient, but I am sitting here just going, oh God, I can't even be bothered to flick through everything. I just want to go straight to what can I order? Do I like it? Yes or no? That's it.
Yeah, I've used it for Splatoon stuff, and I have still not used it once for voice chat. I haven't even attempted it. I've just go straight to Discord now.
Yeah.
Same.
As an aside, I saw this in the news, but for some reason couldn't find the story on it for today. But apparently Capcom announced that version of Street Fighter 2 they did for the Switch apparently sold really well, like way better than they thought.
Yeah,
which is interesting because... Sorry, go on.
Net numbers, would they, though? Which is weird.
Yeah. But basically, because when it came out, they said, like, oh, by the way, like, the amount that we support the Switch basically depends on how well Street Fighter does. And then the reviews of Street Fighter came out, and everyone's like, yeah, it's kind of shit. So, all right, well, that's that then.
I like the fact that they would have a go. They would blame that on the Switch rather than themselves.
Rather than them putting out. We're going to
decide whether we're continuing development on the Switch if this game sells well. Well, the game's shit. Well, forget it then.
It's almost as if they were like, if we find out that we can get away with putting out shit games, then we'll support it. But so apparently that did better than they hoped. What's next? Street Fighter is on the telly. Did you know? BBC Three have signed up with the Gfinity Elite League series, and they are showing
wasn't it last weekend though?
It was. So they basically announced it the day before it was on.
Yeah,
it seems a bit odd. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a big Street Fighter guy, but I saw loads of people on Twitter banging on about it. Seem to be watching it.
It's not just that, is it? It's Street Fighter, Counter-Strike, and Rocket League.
Oh, is it?
I heard Rocket League was coming to the TV.
Yeah,
so I might have to watch some of that.
Yeah. That's going to be
Love
on
a bit of Rocket League.
But yeah, I mean, basically, it says here Fridays. It says Fridays, so I'm assuming I know it was on last weekend, but maybe that's just first weekend.
6 weeks it runs for, I think, is it?
Basically, there's 10 weeks of the of this tournament, whatever it is. And on Fridays from 9 PM, it's Street Fighter 5. Saturdays from 9 PM to 11 is Counter Strike, and Sundays from 5 PM are for Rocket League. So
Sunday 5 PM Rocket League. That's good. That's good.
I still can't believe that FIFA, like a proper FIFA tournament, hasn't been shown off on telly. Do you know what I mean? You just think that would have been picked up at straight away, but apparently not. It's weird.
It's weird. Like, I do wonder if this was I don't know, but a bit of a weird late addition because so the season runs for 10 weeks, but we're already 3 weeks in, and the coverage has just started. Which is and the sort of sudden announcement that it was happening is, I don't know, very odd.
Yeah, I mean, it must have even confused them because BBC Three and other sort of BBC outlets were saying this is the first time ever esports have come to the BBC. And at the bottom of this Eurogame article, it actually says, "Oh no, it's not," because in 2015, BBC Three covered the League of Legends World Championships.
Did they?
so the BBC itself forgot. It's like, just get it out and say it's the first time ever. But
do you reckon something got cancelled? at the last minute. They were
Possibly.
like, oh, shit.
It's like, we can get this for a tenner. No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
We managed to wear out the tape that does 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps. Just get anything on.
And I bet they're regretting it now. They're like, we could have put James's Heavy Rain stream on. That would have pulled in the numbers.
I got 52 viewers on Twitch. I did.
Yeah, that is insane, though. But I don't think James realised how incredible that was. Like, the numbers you were getting were crazy. Yeah, okay, cool. Next story.
PlayStation Plus is more expensive now.
Yeah.
Wait, as of tomorrow.
This was kind of crappy.
But yesterday,
by the time this podcast is out, it's too late.
Yeah.
Did they even try and justify it?
No.
Nope. Well, just said it's putting it in line with America, which apparently had a price hike last year.
Oh, right. Okay, thanks.
So in a way, it feels like they've been kind to us. But yeah, so now your annual PlayStation Plus sub is now £50 instead of 40, or your quarterlies are 20 instead of 15, and your monthly is now £7 instead of 6.
I mean, I'll say something straight away. It's been 40 for ages, and I've never paid anywhere near that because there's always codes way cheaper on eBay or CD Keys. It's like £30, whatever. But yeah, so now it's officially 50. I'll probably pay 35 or maybe 40 for it.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, they could have thrown us a bone though, like just done something to make it a bit.
Well, they gave us a week to stack them up. I mean, these things stack. So obviously, this is only for us four because people listening to this, it's already too late. But yeah, we could buy loads of these cheap 30 or $20 or £29 or £30 memberships you'll see on CD Keys or eBay and stack them. And I mean, I'm tempted to buy a couple now, and then I've got PS Plus for 3 years. I mean, my current sub runs out I think mid 2018. But if I can pick up a couple of memberships now for £30 a year, I might as well do that, and I'm sorted for 3 years.
The only thing that gets me is that they wouldn't be doing this if the Xbox One was any real competition, would they?
Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they know they can get away with it.
We're top of the league. Let's have a little bit more money coming in every month. What are they going to do? Stop playing Destiny?
I mean, how many registered users must there be on PlayStation Plus? Paid users, there's got to be millions, right? So that's a lot of extra.
If there's like 60 million
£10.
PlayStations,
yeah, that's a lot of money. So yeah, am I happy about it? Not really. Do I blame them? Not really.
And I mean, the argument has been made that the £40 price point has been set since Xbox Live originally launched.
That's true.
So that was a long time ago, but still leaves a bad taste in the mouth, doesn't it?
Yeah. And there's a difference
it just
between
seems like such a massive price hike because it's like 25%, isn't it? Which is a bit much. If it had been like a £5 or something, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. But yeah, it seems quite a lot.
And it's
so at the end of May, of May, Sony confirmed that they have now got 26.4 million subscribers.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
That's a lot of tenors.
That's a lot of tenors.
But yeah, it's like. So when Microsoft, obviously they've properly sorted their shit out with regards backwards compatibility, and obviously that's just a bit of a nice little present to sort of win people over. And but there's a difference between Sony not matching that and then Sony doing something like this. Do you know what I mean? Like there's inaction because they don't have to, and then there's putting a price up of something because they can. It's hard not to read it as being a little bit more malicious, but. I
tell you what, it's starting to make me think a little bit more about the Nintendo online stuff. I mean, do I really want to pay £20 on top of the... What is this? So that would be £90 that I'm already paying for my online services?
Yeah, but Dave,
because if Nintendo made it... If Nintendo made it clear... So that your £20 sub, is that for all online players? Is that just for the app?
We don't know anything, Sean.
Yeah. it's going to be a former, isn't it?
I was thinking exactly that, because once they start charging for it, does that mean that the Splatoon game that I've bought and, have been playing for the past few hours is just cut off and won't work anymore?
Possibly. It must just be for the voice chat. There's no way they do that, because that'd be crazy.
Could you imagine paying £20?
Who are we talking about?
I know, but I know that Nintendo are mad, but they can't be that mad to take away multiplayer from people that are already playing it.
After the app, all bets are off.
Yeah, it is totally. I mean, you don't know what's happening. It's like a crazy man coming up to you and saying that the sun is blue. Whatever. Go on.
Yeah. Right, last bit of news. David Turner's child sex doll has been ruled by a judge to be an obscene item, unfortunately. Sorry to hear it, Dave.
What's this about?
Judge says any quote, any right-thinking person would find the doll obscene, despite David arguing that it was...
David. So,
yeah.
This is a hilarious thing where they've read a story and it has, like as if I was the only David Turner in the world. Someone has the same name as me and they're applying that story to me. But
it's a bit of a coincidence. I mean, you also have a sex doll, so it's no wonder we put two and two together.
That's my wife you're talking about. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
My favourite thing about that article was the caption underneath the picture. Can you read that, Sean?
Yep. David Turner dressed the black-haired doll himself.
Well done.
He's all proud of it.
Yeah. He also said it was intended to be a, in inverted commas, companion for him and his wife.
Oh, Jesus. Him and his wife. I missed that bit.
That feels bad now.
Yeah.
The whole thing's a mess. Go on.
I should probably mention, Dave, you might want to get a SEO specialist on the payroll because
that is going to mess up.
If you Google your name, that is all that comes up.
I mean, to be honest, you Google my name. I mean, I'm way down on that list anyway. So if it's not a clear sex offender, then it's someone else with horrible.
I appear sort of, considering I share a name with a man who was unlawfully shot by the police, right? I'm actually quite high up on the search results for my name, and I used to think that was cool, and then I got a job that I care about, and suddenly I don't really want anyone finding that.
Oh yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I do worry about people like that finding this side of my life, but
there's nothing. Sex doll side.
There's nothing that I could get like actually told off over. It's just, like everything you put on Twitter is
told off. What, you work in a school?
Yeah, get caned, mate. Nothing I can get bollocked over. There you go. How's that? But it's just, like all stupid jokes you make on Twitter are so like context heavy, and it's like I just don't want to have to explain any of it.
You could explain it, then they'll be like, yeah, that is funny, actually, Sean.
I see. Yeah, it's good.
I feel really bad for like when you meet people like at a party or friends of friends or whatever, and they go, "Oh, are you on Twitter? I'll follow you on Twitter." And then as you're giving them your username, you're like, you're gonna unfollow pretty quickly. I mean, you don't. You
or like sometimes, do you ever like
basically tweeting "tap that B" over and over again at the moment, and you won't have a clue. I mean, most people don't, but you specifically will not have a clue.
Well, do you ever get it where sometimes you'll have like a pleasant interaction with someone on Twitter who's not like a video games person, and they follow you, and you sort of feel like you just want to tweet them like, no, don't. Honestly, don't worry about it. Don't do that. It's fine.
Yeah, you're best off without. We'll save you the awkwardness of unfollowing me and me the awkwardness of getting angry that you unfollowed me. Let's just skip to the end.
I have that at work a lot. Like, obviously most people, the agency I work at on Twitter, and maybe a lot more senior people would find me and follow me, and a day later they unfollow me pretty swiftly. Like, it's no need to follow Matt. I can see him in the office. That is easily enough for me.
If you work with Matt and you listen to the show, which I know you do, why don't you email in and tell me how you'd think I'd cope in the office? Like in that office, in Matt's workspace. How long would I survive before I was either A, fired, B, quit, or C, upset someone so badly that the whole place falls apart?
The chances of doing that in my office are way, way lower than surely your office, where it feels incredibly uptight and quiet.
No, I don't. It is uptight, but it's also like relaxed. I mean, you could say some pretty offensive shit and no one cares. I've got a feeling you say something in your place and there's all sorts. HR in my place is one woman that just doesn't even care. You can do what you want. Right, okay. Is that the end of the news?
That is the end of the news.
We better get to what you've been playing then. Shall I start this week?
Yeah.
It's pretty boring. I've basically been playing. I went away for the weekend, so I didn't get much game time in this week, but I have been putting a lot of time into Splatoon 2. In regards to the game, Splatoon 2 is a game where it pits two teams of 4 against each other, Matt. Listen.
Okay, well, what do you do in those teams?
You just... I can't even remember, to be honest with you.
It's not paint, it's ink.
What's the button layout? Like how?
Okay, we've done this. Let's move on.
I don't know how it works, David. Is it L? Is it ZR or ZL?
They get the joke, guys. Right, so I moved up to rank mode and had a few games of that. It totally changes the way you play, doesn't it? And the tactics that you've learned while building up and getting to rank mode is completely like you have to start again from the beginning. Your approach to everything is insane.
Did you feel like you wanted to persist? Because I tried like about 2 games and I was like, yeah, I'm not ready for this yet.
No, I'm totally persisting.
To the regular turf war.
Yeah, no, I'm totally persisting. What I want though is for someone else to do, because it was weird when we were first playing the normal sort of multiplayer mode of Splatoon. We were all sort of kind of around the same levels, and it was interesting to see how everyone was getting on, what their stats were and stuff. But I kind of went into ranked on my own, and I kind of feel like I need to be able to not compare how I'm getting on compared to other people, but more just to talk tactics and say, oh yeah, no, this actually works well with this, and this does well. I think I'm getting the hang of it, but I've yet to win a game in ranked yet, so clearly I've still got a lot more to learn.
What, that might not be your fault. Now, what rank do you have to get to be in ranked?
10.
Oh, okay, cool.
10, and the game mode that I was playing was you control a zone. It's like King of the Hill, basically, but you've got to paint the whole area in your team's colour. And then hold it for as long as possible before your team gets wiped out. And it sort of encourages you not staying within that area. It's good to sort of break out. You also need to, you'd think that because it's only one area concentrated and you've got to paint that area, that you kind of feel that, oh, maybe I don't need to paint everywhere else, but it's actually beneficial to. So you can approach the place from different places without being seen, if that makes sense. You can run up from the back and sort of surprise people, pop up in the middle of the battle, and then take people out that way. But the major thing it changes is that people are in groups. You're not just running around on your own painting an area anymore. You are sort of approaching a situation with 2 or 3 people. Because it's, you got so much of an advantage when you're doing that. A lot less rollers as well in that game mode, which is a bad thing for me because I used to pop those people so easily and now they don't exist. It's good. It's fun, but I feel like I need someone to play along with. They definitely should have introduced team play at rank mode.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
The other thing that I said didn't really piss me off too much last week, but has since pissed me off, is the squid run stuff. Salmon run.
Oh,
salmon run stuff. Well, because we were going to play it on Friday, and it turns out that it's not 24 hours on, 24 hours off. They decided to do it from 7 in the morning till 7 in the evening on Friday.
Yeah, that was odd.
Honestly, why? So when we went, should we do some salmon run? No, it shut at 7. What, when I was just getting in from work?
Yeah, I was really excited to play, and then.
It's such a good game mode, and why are they limiting it that much? Like, was it hours? I mean, insane. Absolutely insane.
It would almost be better if it was like, well, not better, but so if it was just shut on weekdays, but then like Friday evening through the weekend it was open. You'd be like, right, cool. But it's
but it's a weekend thing.
Yeah,
that makes like Iron Banner or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Even if they said, look, it's going to be closed for 2 weeks on, and then you'll get 4 days maybe, whatever. Do it that way. Just give us some proper time to play it. It's just ridiculous.
So on Friday it was 7 till 7, but it was also on Saturday, wasn't it? But that was like 1. That was So Friday was 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. as far as I'm aware, and Saturday was 1 a.m. to 1 p. Isn't it 1 p.m. to 1 a.m.? It was much longer.
I think it was 1 a.m. till 1 a.m. Sunday morning.
Yeah, what you're saying there, Matt, it couldn't have been much longer because you've just given 2 12-hour periods there.
I'm what I meant to say is the second one was 24 hours. So even different between Friday and Saturday, I don't quite understand why that's the case either.
I don't know, but
I mean, you can look up the schedule and you can see when like the next 4 or 5 slots are. So I guess you can kind of plan around it. But then, like you say, if there's one during the day on Friday that then stops at 7 p.m, there's only so much you can do about that.
Yeah, it's annoying. But mainly I've been streaming we've all been streaming, haven't we? We all started off playing Salmon Run last week with Jon Denton. Definitely follow him on YouTube and stuff. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. There's a bunch of live streams on there that we were all part of. James, Sean, and I did a stream with John that was Salmon Run. That was really good fun. We had a good laugh. The next day, John said, "Do you want to stream again?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Listen, I've had a chat with someone, and I think we can get on the Nintendo UK Twitter feed. They're going to retweet my stream. Do you reckon you can, not swear?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, I did a lot of radio when I was younger, and it was a while ago, but I found it easy to turn the swearing off, right? I did find it easy. So I thought, it's risky, but I still think I could do it." I said, "Is it just going to be me and you again?" He said, "Yeah, I don't want to open it up to everyone because I know what it gets like. You know, if there's more than 2 people there, then it gets a bit bantery and then swear words crop up." He said, "Let's just build up to that. Let's just see if we can work clean." So we did. They retweeted it. It made 0 difference. It made no difference.
326,000 followers, basically nothing. It says it gets more action if we retweet it, which is
it's nuts. So anyway, the next night he said, "I think they're going to do it again. Can we do it?" And I said, "Well, Matt wants to play as well." And he said, "Okay, I trust Matt not to swear." The 3 of us got together. Matt dropped just bombshells.
It wasn't that bad.
It was pretty bad. We were sitting there, we were chatting. Someone asked a question in the chat saying, "Why is Matt's me bald?" And we were explaining, I think Matt had his headphones off or whatever and said, "Well, Matt's bald in real life, that's it." And Matt come back and said, What did he say? What was that all about? It said, someone asked why your me was bald. And he went, "Well, I had shit hair and now I've got a shit head." And I just went, "Okay, so that's happened." And John went, "You're trying to be family friendly here, Matt." Friendly. And Matt went, "What?"
I didn't realise I said anything.
And then he did it again later.
Oh, fuck.
Well,
he very nearly did.
Yeah. So at that point, I mean, I shouldn't have had a beer. I just said, "Okay, I'll have one beer and hopefully I'll be fine." But obviously it opened the floodgates. And then I did it later as well. And I think I said, "Oh, that was shit. Oh, no. Oh, sorry, John."
Yeah, it really come out slowly.
It was all falling apart.
But that wasn't even the worst.
It did get retweeted in the end, so thanks, Nintendo.
That wasn't even the worst thing that happened on John's stream this week. Saturday night we were I was at my uncle's, right, so I couldn't jump on the chat on the voice comms to help streaming, but I was playing alongside and I had my phone on and I was listening to what you guys were saying while we were all playing and stuff. And Matt, you were on with John, right?
Yeah, been on a few times this week. And
then Sean dropped into the room. Is that right? That was Saturday night, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So we played...
No, Friday night, I think.
Was that Friday?
Oh, Friday night, right. So we played a few games, and then I turned off... I had to go, turned off my Switch. Matt said he had to go. Then I watched back what happened after, Sean. What happened to you, mate?
What do you mean?
Come on, you do know, right? You do know the difference between, say, the first night we streamed and the Saturday after we left.
I mean, I was pretty tired. Why is that?
I watched it, and John was trying everything he could to sort of drag you into the chat, and you were just going, "Yeah," and then it would go quiet, and I went, "What is going on here, Sean?" Genuinely, did you not pick up on that?
Nope.
Wow. Did you know we were streaming before you jumped in?
Yeah.
Okay,
because I thought John was mainly talking to people in the chat. I didn't really think he was addressing me.
It was, but come on, mate, you know how to do it. I mean, just give it a bit of the old Sean magic. You know what I mean? Oh, I played an indie game last week. Yeah, what is it you do? Talk about Soda Pop.
Didn't really feel like John would appreciate me talking about fizzy pop and indie games.
Right, okay, here's what I suggest you do, Sean, because I like you, and I know you're good at this stuff.
Yeah.
You failed a bit there. Go back and watch the Friday night stream after we left, and review your performance, and let me know how you feel you got on.
Well, I already know that I don't want to do that, Dave. I do. I believe you. I just,
Why don't you want to do it?
Because it sounds like it'll be absolutely mortifying.
You want to be the best Sean you can be, am I right? Yeah.
Top 5 at least would be cool. Yeah.
So you got to review. Do you not listen to anything you do? Do you not listen back to your podcasts and stuff like that and go?
Yeah, but not if someone tells me it was shit.
That wasn't funny. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, but you know, I've got to tell you where you're going wrong so you can put yourself right, Sean.
Okay.
Next time when we're streaming,
I was going to say, next weekend we'll stream together, and I want you to be like, brap, 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 oh my god, there's bombs in the chat, no.
I would genuinely like that. Yeah. Maybe you were just tired, because as I said, when we streamed the Salmon Run stuff, you were bang into it. We were all like proper popping off each other. It was great. Yeah. I want to get good at this. You know what I mean? I genuinely want to get good at this streaming stuff, and I'm not there yet. I listen to myself and go, Matt, I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not good at streaming yet. I am no James Farley. No one's as good as James Farley in this room.
I don't know what you're talking about. Makes no sense to me, but go on.
Yeah, I would explain to you during your bit why you are so good at streaming, because I think I clicked it today.
The greatest natural talent in the game right now.
Yeah. And I think we could all do with a bit of home truths with one another, okay? You're right, Sean, you're not going to crawl into your shell now and get the hump with me, are you?
Right.
Yeah, I do feel bad.
We're not streaming now, we can...
I do feel bad because Sean put in the WhatsApp, hey, you guys playing Splatoon? Like, yeah, just jump on our sort of private team channel on Discord and we'll have a chat. But I guess I didn't make it clear that we were streaming. I assume you might have seen, say, tweets or whatever, but I thought, and I was like, oh no, hang on, did he not know? And I dropped him in it, but you knew. So
I mean, yeah, like, because I was quite knackered, and probably if you'd made it clear, I might have been like, I'll leave you to it then. But, yeah.
So I just don't do it again. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much my my gaming stuff. I've played some other stuff, but not enough to really talk about. So I've got a bit of a surprise game to talk about. It's The Witness. I picked that up this week, so I should have.
What made you pick that up? Is it cheap at the moment?
No, ever since you guys were talking about it last year during the What's It show, it sounded a lot more interesting than I initially thought it was. And I wanted to pick it up, but there was no way I was paying 30 quid for it. And then I was listening to Midnight Resistance this morning, and they said, oh my God, how cheap The Witness is at the moment. And for the past few sales that they've done, I've checked to see how much it's selling for. Thinking, if it's, because I've still got I still had like 7 quid left in my wallet. So, but you know, my virtual wallet. So I was like, I haven't really got anything to spend this on, but if that came up, I would definitely give it a pump for, you know, essentially free, because it was from a Christmas voucher or whatever. And then so I text Sean this morning saying, is it still on sale, Sean? Let me know. And then totally forgot the fact that I could actually just go on my app and have a look. And it was. And so I bought it. And
how much was it?
£7.20, I think.
Anyone listening to this, £7, you'll get a lot. If you're even vaguely into puzzle games, and I guess I wouldn't really describe myself as into puzzle games, but I thought it was fantastic.
I like how Matt completely dismissed me the moment I purchased it. Did you not remember what you said?
Probably that you wouldn't like it. You'll get bored of it.
You probably haven't got the patience for it, Dave, to be honest with you. But,
it doesn't. Well, I mean, I hope you enjoy it, because I thought it was fantastic. How much have you played so far?
I've done the first area. I'm on the black and white square puzzles at the moment, if that makes sense, where you got to separate them. Yeah. So very, very, very early on. But willing to give it a go, because although some of the stuff has been spoilt for me a little, because I've been listening to like end of year podcasts from last year. So I was a little bit disappointed that a couple of things were spoiled, but at the time I was fully prepared to hear them. So I probably wouldn't have bought it if I hadn't heard all that stuff. So, you know what I mean? What can you do? So yeah, I'll let you know next week. I'll report back. Cool. Sean, let's cheer you up. I didn't mean to, that wasn't an attack. It was a bit of just, I assume you knew.
No, like I knew, just didn't realise it's an issue. I was quite tired. John just seemed to be bantering with the people in his chat, which I couldn't see. So I was just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, no, John didn't say anything. I was just watching it back afterwards, just going, what the fuck has happened to Sean? It sounds like he's either just had a breakdown or I don't know what he's doing.
I mean, to be fair, Sean, no one else has said anything. It's just Dave. But,
it's true. It's true. Maybe it is just me.
Don't you think everyone on YouTube.com is thinking that's that fucking Sean character?
I love it if it's like John had actually lost subscribers because of this.
Yeah, well, I think YouTube closed his channel
fucking
down.
say something, I'm hemorrhaging numbers there. It's fucking quick.
I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. I think he said it on the stream. But he did say something really interesting the other day, that whenever he puts out a video with him and his son, have you seen any of those ones?
Yeah.
They're brilliant.
Yeah.
He loses subscribers.
You kidding?
That's crazy. I thought it'd be the opposite.
Exactly. It's nuts, right? And I was thinking, I asked him, like, so where do you go now when he goes, Dad, can we stream? Well, you're actually losing me subscribers, kid, so
get to your own channel.
I'd rather you didn't.
Doing your own stats, not mine.
One awkward having to fire your son from your YouTube channel.
You know what, son?
It's like when we used to
love your work, but you strike out on your own, really. I mean, I wouldn't want to, you create your own content. Don't leave your old dad behind, it's fine.
No, because like Gary used to do bits with his daughter Sam for Midnight Resistance, and we used to think they were fucking hilarious, and just, nothing. Like
There's definitely some of that where you're totally self-conscious about the fact that you might just be going, "Wow, my kid," like, and no one cares.
Yeah.
I mean, that picture that I tweeted out with me coming down the slide and Harry looking scared at the same time, I thought was the greatest thing ever. It got like 10 likes. And then Matt said, "You totally fucked it. Oh, you should have done it like this." So I did it like that and it got like 8 likes. So
did you redo it or something?
I did, yeah, on the Saturday. I said Matt told me I totally fucked it, so I'm trying this again. Tweeted it out.
Well, Dave, it's never going to work second time around. Jesus, what are you expecting?
Oh, you're blaming that now, are you? Okay.
Well, what, are you going to keep deleting and redoing tweets until one of them bangs?
Well, yeah. No. I mean, to be fair, they still banged better than that meme that you put out for the show today, so
yeah,
I'm not totally disappointed.
I probably over-memed. Didn't need the music. Probably didn't need the caption.
It didn't need the white letters on the top and the bottom. I tell you that.
I'm still every day's school day. I'm still learning what works and what doesn't work.
Is this joe.co.uk? No, it's us.
Yeah, but they got mad numbers.
Yeah, I know, but you can't just do what they do and hope it's the same. All right, okay. I've really criticised you. I'm feeling bad now.
No, it's fine. When you asked me if I was alright and I just sort of mumbled, that was a joke. That was me.
Thank you for that.
Gag man.
Okay.
Let's move on.
I've just been playing loads of Splatoon 2. I don't think I've got a huge amount to add other than I'm excited about Splatfest.
When's that start?
Well, for one reason...
it's this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it's this weekend, yeah. So for one thing, it means that there'll actually be a mode where we can easily get a team together and play together. Although not with Dave and Farley, because they're fucking Team Ketchup, so they can go fuck themselves.
I'm quite happy not to play with a Mayo that weekend, I'll tell you that.
I realised I was tweeting about this the other day. It only occurred to me, because each team has their set colour, and obviously Mayo is Mayo coloured and Ketchup is Ketchup coloured, it's actually going to look like we're spraying Mayo and Ketchup everywhere.
Oh, God, and that's not going to look like you're spraying mayo either, is it?
No, it's going to look horrific, but
it's blood and semen. It's like an average weekend in my house.
It's just a blood and semen one.
Are you team blood or team semen?
So how did you get on the blood versus semen fest? Oh, God.
It's just really cool.
Work, Sean. So yeah, obviously on the Friday or whatever, you select if you're Mayo and Ketchup, and then you can't party out of other people from your opposing team, or how does it work?
Basically, yeah. So like half the modes are just replaced with Splatfest, and then so you can form a party with other people who voted on your team, and then go against whoever. And you can on the very good Nintendo app, you can see which of your friends have voted for which side, which is sort of useful. So we'll actually be able to do that over the weekend.
And if your side wins, it's just a pride thing. You don't get anything. It's just tree.
You get. I forget what you get if you actually win. But you get like depending on the sort of, because you rank up as you play in a Splatfest.
Okay.
So you'll start off as like mayonnaise fanboy, and then it'll go up to like mayonnaise king or whatever. And so depending on what rank you get these items. Well, this is how it works in Splatoon 1. I think it's the same here. You get these items that then allow you to add like ability slots to your gear, which is really useful. So it means if you've got like a piece of gear that you like the look of, but it's like rank 1 and it's shit, then just bang another couple of slots in it, and suddenly it's
cool.
like top
so
tier.
those are things you can only earn during Splatfest. So it's worth hammering Splatfest to get those things to use in your standard Splatoon playing.
Exactly, yeah, it all
of
sort of feeds back in. Another thing that's really interesting, so the week in the week running up to Splatfest, you can pick your team, and then you get like a special T-shirt with Team Mayo or Team Ketchup on it. What's interesting about that is it's got 3 secondary ability slots, and I don't know if any of you guys have delved into this yet, but the game has this thing where you can scrub your abilities, like your secondary abilities, from a piece of clothing, which basically, like, it gets rid of all your secondary abilities, but they then become ability chunks. It all gets a bit fucking Destiny, really. They all become ability chunks, which then once you get 10 of a certain ability chunk, you can then put it on another piece of gear. So rather than waiting for it to rank up and get something random, if you know there's a specific ability you want, then you can just like put it straight on. So that normally costs 20 grand to do. So you really can't afford to do it a lot. But the Splatfest t-shirt only costs 2 grand to do it. So I think the idea is, in the run up to Splatfest, you basically level up as much as you can, like rinse as many abilities out of that t-shirt as you can. And then, once Splatfest is over, you have to hand it back. So that's
so
interesting.
You don't get to keep the t-shirt?
No, you have to hand it back at the end of
that is
Splatfest.
a shame.
That's a shame, yeah.
It is a shame.
It would be nice to like collect all the teams that you've been on.
Yeah. Because I was thinking it's because it reminded me a bit of the elusive targets in Hitman, and how like by the end of it, you've got this like full list of like which ones you failed, which ones you did that and the other. And so it would be cool with Splatfest to be like, here's my collection of t-shirts.
And so the losing team doesn't get to keep their. Like, if you pick the wrong side, you don't get to keep your t-shirt. So only the winning t-shirts are available, and only to those that signed up for that team.
Yeah,
it just seems cool. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
So is this all based on Splatoon 1 knowledge, and there's a chance they might have changed it, or has this come out in the last week?
Going by, because you can talk to that guy, Merch, who sits next to the main sort of multiplayer lobby, and he's the one who you get all your stuff off. Like, there's an option with him to like add slots to your gear, and if you ask him about it, he's just like, nah, ask me about that later. So I assume that's post Splatfest, and I assume that behaves the same as it used to.
He's totally. He's hinted that he's like a proper drug dealer, right? Like, that's his.
It's pretty sketchy, isn't he?
Yeah, like he seems like, drug dealer or a bloke trying to sell some speakers out of a van type character. I like it.
Is it the guy sitting on the bench?
Sorry, go on.
Is it the guy sitting on the bench just literally?
Yeah, the little
hedgehog
dude or whatever.
Yeah. There's one thing we've not really touched on about Salmon Run is how sketchy that is. Like,
what do you mean?
Well, they sort of refer to it when you first start the game. It's like, oh yeah, like go here if you're desperate for cash, but like it's a bit weird. Like, don't do it if you're desperate.
It feels like it's parodying, sort of army enrollment stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then like
be the best.
And it's like, everything else in the game is all like totally stylish and cool. And then you do Salmon Run, it's just everything's rusted and fucked, and you're stealing eggs from these salmon who are just trying to get back to their homes or whatever. And it's just like, this is pretty fucked, actually. It's gross. I don't know. It's interesting.
Okay, cool. Matt?
I've also played as Splatoon. You guys have said everything, but yeah, it's still great. I'm still enjoying single player. I'm not very good at the game, and that's definitely affecting my enjoyment. But I'm still playing it, and I'm still enjoying it. I just wish I was.
Are you switching up weapons though? Are you trying new things?
I went. When I was playing with John in a week and streaming, people were suggesting I tried the roller. Really enjoyed that because I got way more points per game, and I feel like I was doing much more to support the team. And I was getting more kills with that, but I feel like I want to change it up again. So, what are you guys all rocking right now? I've tried the Julies and they're fine, and I really love the dodge mechanic, but
it's so hard to do it well though. Like,
yeah, and I've enjoyed the roller much more, and I've bought the carbon roller since then. But I'm looking for the next weapon upgrade. I'm rank 9, so maybe rank 10 gives me something big that I need. But what are you rocking, Sean? Come on in.
So I'm reluctantly using the Aerospray MG because unfortunately it is just clearly definitely the best.
I don't know about that. Would I have already opened that? Or
what? Sorry, we say Matt.
Would I have already opened that, or was that a much
possibly?
higher level?
It's the one that's like all silver. I forget what rank you have to be to unlock it.
Okay.
It's just like in terms of coverage, it's just ridiculous. Like I'll regularly get like 1,300 points of coverage every match. Or thereabouts. It's just absolutely stupid, and that's why most people are using it. How many kills you getting
per round, Sean? With that?
Well, that's the trade-off is that it's not as good in combat because it's quite a wide spread, so it's not very accurate. So, like in a stand-up fight, you'll generally lose. Like you've got to be really careful about your positioning, and like if someone spots you before you spot them, or you spot each other at the same time, you need to just fuck off and find like a better angle to get them at.
I was all about that, but now I've changed to the Splat Jewelers.
Okay.
And then I tried to go back to it today, and I just found it to be like just far too slow. Like what I was trying to do. It was
Yeah, like if you're close range and someone else has got the jewelies and they manage to get the dodge off, then it's game over. I presume, have you noticed the trick with the dodge mechanic and the firing pattern? I might have mentioned this last time.
Because it like narrows down, doesn't it? If you
and you fire quicker. So basically, if you can get the dodge off and then aim straight at your opponent, they're fucking dead. But I don't know, the jewelies, like for one, I'm too bad at doing that, and two, I don't know, can't get as much coverage out of them as I can with the Aerospray. But like I'm trying to try new things. Like I'm actually, like if someone's absolutely destroying me, like today I was getting absolutely wrecked by someone using one of the brushes, which was new to me. Like I've not seen many people using them, certainly not seen many people being really good with them. So I was actually able to use the app and be like, which brush were they using? Oh, they were using the Octo brush, I'll buy that one. So that was cool.
The brush thing gets me all the time. I get it seems like such a wide firing cone or whatever.
And the Octo brush has like quite fucking dogs going off on one again. Shut up.
Unbelievable.
The Octo brush has like a bit more range on it as well. So like the first brush you get is basically just a melee weapon, but the second one is actually like you can be like a good couple of meters away from people and still get them with it.
Have either of you tried the minigun like one?
I can't do the minigun. It's
just the one where you got to hold it down and let it go.
Yeah. It does. It's useless, obviously, for coverage, but it can be quite lethal. Like
if you get the drop on someone with it, it's fucking lethal. Yeah.
Today or the last day or so, the dual squelchers have come out. So is this also a thing in Splatoon where every week or two they will just drop a new weapon? Cause,
pretty much, Okay, you'll often find that it's usually like an old weapon but with new like abilities and stuff.
An old weapon as in Splatoon 1, or one that we may have already seen in Splatoon 2 but with different abilities.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. I like the fact that every week there could be new things to play with and to change add builds and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, they've already mentioned we're getting a new map for Splatfest as well, which is cool.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'm all about the Tentatec splatter shot. Because that's where it's at. I mean, I fucking love that weapon.
Is that the auto rifle?
Yeah, I moved on to that ages ago and just haven't moved back. I moved up to the pro splatter shot.
That's hard work, that.
It really is. Yeah, the range isn't as good. It's a lot more powerful, but the rate of fire is crap.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking with what I got for now until I find something decent. Mm-hmm. For sure. What's the deal with the hero weapons? Do you pick them up just through playing a single player?
I think it's when you complete it, you can then get all the replica hero gear. Because I love the look of the regular machine gun, whatever it is that you have in the campaign. So I would quite like that.
Yeah, I need to finish that.
Yeah, same.
For sure.
Splatoon 2, though, is a very, very good game. It looks gorgeous, the sound's amazing, and I'm still really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to keep me captured for a long, long time. Hopefully until Destiny, but I'm still really enjoying it. I wish I was better at it, but I'll get better hopefully the more I play
it. You'll get there. It's like, because it's such a weird, like, because obviously it looks like a shooter, but it takes a lot of like adjusting to just little things, like realizing that, like I say, in terms of getting into fights with people, usually the best thing to do is just be a squid and get out of there, or try and get around a wall or up a wall and just try and approach them from another angle. Stuff like that you're not really used to. And like getting used to, like, you know, the temptation to just fill in like little bits of ink.
Yeah.
Like you just got to stop doing that because it just slows you down so
it's
much.
Not good for my OCD.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll
it's really difficult.
It's neat.
Yeah. And you have to like train yourself to not do that, because basically you've always got to look at it as like there is always like a massive bit of enemy ink somewhere that needs clearing. So just filling in little bits is like really inefficient.
So in terms of like coverage, if I see two lanes next to me and one's full of enemy ink and one's just blank, is it always best to go over the enemy ink? Or...
Yes, because obviously that reduces their score as well as adding to yours.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm an idiot. Yeah, of course it is.
The other thing I noticed, sorry to bang on, it's a stupid detail. You know, like when, what's the names, the two women, Marina and Pearl? Yeah, it's Pearl.
Yeah, definitely.
When they do their little bit, and it's kind of annoying, and you're mashing the buttons and you're skipping through it. So I realised the other day that you can see them in their little studio from the main plaza area.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it came up and they did the little broadcast saying, "Oh yeah, here are the maps." I was like, "Yeah, fucking whatever." And then I noticed, like, you can see out onto the plaza. You can see through the window behind them, and there was a player character stood there, and I was like, right, I'm going to go walk over to the window and see if they're there, and they fucking were. It's actually
I did that, Sean, and they weren't.
What, really?
I did exactly that, Sean, and they weren't.
Shit.
However, that might have been maybe because was I online? I think I was, but maybe thinking about it now, but I wasn't.
Okay.
Because it's weird, it checks to see if you're online in strange. There's some weird syncing things with that as well, because I've seen Matt Murray sitting down next to where you walk in.
That happened when we're streaming or after stream, and someone's like, "We can see you," but that Matt Murray had a different coloured hat and all sorts.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on.
I know we discussed this over the last couple of weeks, and basically I've said that I could have been playing single player, for instance, and now see that bloody movie again, and you insist that you only see that when you first load the game up.
I think I figured this out
countless times. If I'm playing it online, if I'm playing in turf or whatever, then yeah, when the maps change, then we'll get kicked out of the room, and you'll get basically a notification on screen just saying new maps and stuff, and that's that. But if I'm playing in single player or I'll get that whole movie again. It doesn't matter if I'm there when the changeover happens. I won't just get a little notification. I'll get the whole bloody movie. So I don't get it when I'll probably get it when I start, but I also get it when it changes. I can't be the only one.
There's an option or something. It's nuts because
have you never seen that movie? If you've been, do you play much of single player at all?
Yeah. Okay,
and you've never been there when the maps are changing over and you've had to watch that bloody movie again.
Possibly not.
Oh, okay.
The only thing I've twigged is that it definitely makes you watch it if Salmon Run has started or if Splatfest has started.
No, I mean I've been playing on countless times where obviously we haven't had Splatfest yet, and Salmon Run's been on the days where I haven't been playing, basically.
Yeah.
Sean, also regarding looking at those people through the windows, apparently if you look at them for a long amount of time, they give you a nervous smile and wave.
Really?
Yeah, like as if amazing. Think,
have you seen that? Have you seen the thing with the curling bomb as well?
Yeah, he's a little fist pump when it goes off. That's
lovely
cool.
little touch.
Yeah,
lovely little details.
Anyway,
okay, James.
I'm still talking. I mean, are we talking about me or should we go to James's games?
No, let's go at you, man.
I've also
a big deal out of it.
I also streamed some Lawbreakers. What?
Yeah, that's Cliffy B's game, right?
Yeah, Cliffy B's new studio, Blue Streak. And yeah, it's a game called Lawbreakers. It's a first-person shooter game. It was originally going to be free to play, but now it's a proper pay-to-play release. And they had an open beta last weekend. I played with John. We streamed for like 3 hours or so. When you first look at it, it looks like another sort of Overwatch-style game. There are, there's I think 5 or 6 or maybe 7 different character classes. There's tons of different abilities. But after the first half an hour, like, well, it's just, it's another shooter. Who's really going to be bothered? But by the end, we were having an absolute blast. And I went to play it again today, hoping it will be on, even though it's Monday. Maybe it'll be extended, but it's not on. And I was quite upset because, we had an absolute blast on Saturday night after playing it for a couple of hours. So the beta, and I presume also the full game, has a few different game modes. There's captured flag, where there's basically, it's like capture flag, but basically there's this battery in the middle of the map, and this battery has a cooldown, but you can go basically grab it, and then you have to take it back to your base and then wait for it to charge up and whatnot. There's also there's turf war, where there's like capture points around the map, and there's also blitz ball, where you have to grab a ball and then take it back to your base. So it was doing really well, the beta, at rotating through the various game types. And all of them were super, super fun, actually. I mean, I had some really, really close battles, particularly in that Blitzball, where I think that's the one where it's first to 16. And on a couple of games, there's like 15 all, and then, and whatnot. And it's really like tense trying to get that 16th point. It feels really, really Unreal Tournament-like, which is great, because I used to love Unreal Tournament back in the day. And John was saying, that obviously Cliffy B used to work on that back in the day, but it feels really like that. Like, the games are really, really fast paced. The weapons are really big on screen. So it just, and I'm not sure as to when the maps are designed, or the speed of the characters, or the gameplay or what, but it just feels very, very Unreal Tournament in a way that I can't.
Well, from
really
watching
describe,
it looked like there was a lot of time you spent airborne.
Well, I was going to get onto the airborne bit. So it feels.
But
very
that's I think that's a nice link, because that's where I had that Unreal Tournament feel from it, because I remember just zipping across stages rather than just like plodding along and shooting what was coming across me. I was like flying all over the place in Unreal.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what game mode you're playing. In the middle of each of these maps, there is an anti-grav section, where it's basically this giant section where you can jump into it, and suddenly there's no gravity, and that although that's just such a simple thing, that makes it so fun to have battles in that middle section of the map. And typically that is where, say, the batteries are to be collected in overcharge mode, and in turf war, the anti-grav bit could be one of the key bits you've got to take. But flying in anti-grav mode it's fantastic. So it's not technical or complicated or hard to know where you're going when you're flying. It's just literally anti-grav, so you're not flying, you're just jumping in certain directions, and it's really fun, because it's not hard to keep your crosshair on an opposing player to kill them in the anti-grav mode. It feels really fun, really fast, and it feels absolutely class when you see the anti-grav section, you run and jump, and then your trajectory carries you forward, and to keep your crosshair aimed at a person, and to keep jumping around, darting in and out of cover and whatnot, but in anti-grav, it just feels absolutely class. And I know that's quite a simple mechanic, and you could say, well, if this didn't have that, what is this game? But this game does have that, and I think it's really, really fun. That was easily some of the most satisfying kills we got, when you could see half the team potentially in anti-grav jumping across, getting kills. When people die, they sort of float away in slow motion. The anti-grav bit's an absolute class, and I think you're right, Dave. I think the sort of air-based combat in that does feel very, very Unreal Tournament. Each appeal you have has numerous different abilities, and I was, even towards the end of the session, I was still learning these new abilities. I had intended to try all of the various different game classes, but I chose the first one, which I think was Vanguard. I mean, all of them have really forgettable names, although I've just remembered that, but Vanguard's the one I chose, and that was such fun that I just didn't want to change class, and I just stuck with that the whole time. But Vanguard had one where one of the abilities was where you hold down L1, and it's basically like you're basically flying, and so but it's a flying kick, I believe, is what it is. So you can use it to fly around the map, but you can also use it to kick enemies and kick them off the map, and you get environmental kills for doing that. But there's so many different abilities. Again, that's a character I had this almost like this force push mechanic as well. So I'd see someone force push them to take their shield down, then fire at them or chuck a grenade at them. The game is super, super fun. I mean, there's obviously loads of shooters out. There's loads coming out with Destiny and PUBG later in the year. So I'm not sure how much an audience is going to get, but the fact is it's out next week, I think it is. So it's going to have a month or so before Destiny, and I was seeing how much it's going to be. And on PSN right now, this game is £22 for PlayStation Plus owners. I think it might be 25 for full price.
That's all right.
And so for 25 quid, I'm like, wow, I mean, it was so fun. I mean, I'm not sure how different the main game is going to be. I'm not sure how deep it really is, but if you and your mates fancy a shooter and you want to play something that feels a bit old school, £25, I reckon it's an awesome price for that.
The one thing I will say, and this is a shit criticism, so I apologise, but it did look like well generic when you were playing it.
Yeah,
I mean,
with
the bits where you were flying around, it looked okay and stuff, but I was kind of like, this kind of looks like everything.
Yeah, it looks generic. Like the menus look very Overwatch. It's got at the end you get these things called stash boxes, where at the end of a match of a round, you could earn a stash box if you get a level up or do other things in the game. You open them and you know there's green, orange, purple, and styles of bonuses, and there could be stickers or gun skins and stuff. It feels very Overwatch in that sense. And I'm sure, as this was originally a free-to-play game, I'm sure there's tons of in-game microtransactions to buy stash boxes and whatnot. And yes, it looks pretty generic. The characters look pretty generic. They've got generic names, but fundamentally, the gameplay is just really, really super fun. And like John and I went into it thinking, well, it's a free beta weekend, and we'd always streamed Splatoon for hours at that point over the week. So let's try something different. And we weren't expecting too much. And at the beginning, we're like, there's loads of different systems, but it's pretty generic. But yeah, by the end, I thought it's brilliant. Like I said, I wanted to play again tonight, hoping I could get a few rounds in. I mean, with things like Destiny on the horizon, I'm not sure how much of a lifespan this has got, but from what I played, it was super, super fun. And all of the game modes felt really, really varied, even though they're all, they're all, the stuff we've done for years in other games. Like Blitzball was really, really super tense. That's the one where you grab the ball and try and get into your side. I think it's really good. Surprisingly good, actually. I mean, I guess Cliffy B's got a history of creating awesome multiplayer games and whatnot, but yeah, I liked it. None of you played it, I presume. Did you?
I tried to, but I just couldn't get in a game for some reason. I had a couple of attempts, and it was just I was just stuck in the lobby. Like it was like a full lobby, with me and like 7 other people, and it was just like, okay, finding a server or whatever. And
such a shame. It was rock solid for us all night, really. We're
Sorry, Sean, but is that down for the fact that you absolutely love Jonathan Blow, and this is Cliffy B? And you also say the phrase "shooty bang bang," that maybe your IP has been found. And
the game was like, we're not starting this game until that prick leaves.
It's more like, guys, I really want to play this game, but my router's in the bin, but I don't know why I can't connect. I mean, it's weird, but anyway, it's a shame we didn't play, Sean, because I would like to hear what you said about the game. But I thought it was, and £22, that's a great price for. I mean, this game doesn't have a single player. It's just multiplayer games. But yeah.
When's it out?
It is out. I think it's out the 6th of August. It's out. It's out 8th of August. Sorry. So next week. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's out on PS4. It's out on Xbox. Oh no, so it's just Windows and PS4 actually. But yeah,
cool.
Best console.
£22. I think worth picking up.
All right then. Cool, James.
Well, obviously I played Heavy Rain and finished that. I've been playing Splatoon still, which, as you said, still great. I just like playing it just for a bit and then stop playing it. But my daughter's really into it, and she made a game out of her own thing. It was just really weird. I came home and she's like, "Look what I've made," and she'd made a book that had Splatoon 3 written on it, and then inside she'd described how this game that she designed. I was quite impressed. That's
amazing.
Good. Yeah, it's just really interesting, seeing how. Yeah, and she'd worked out the rules and how it would work. I mean, it was basically like a board game it had become. So I was a bit disgusted because board games, that kind of thing. But it was pretty good. It was a pretty good design, and it's just really interesting to see how it's fired her imagination.
Imagine if that game got made, James, and you had to review it. And it was shit. Well,
she did ask me to.
How would you approach that?
She did ask me to to give a review of it at the end, and I just said yes, very good, and that was it.
But you didn't give it you didn't give it a mark out of 10.
No, I didn't. No,
you didn't say, "Wow, this game, the frame rate is dog shit."
She said, "Rachel, I'll talk about it on the podcast."
Just wait 10 years, you can listen to it. But
good point.
Yes, I've obviously been playing that, and but then the other game. I mean, apart from Heavy Rain, I have played another game which was Yonder. The Cloud Crasher Chronicles. Because I was playing that for review, and I'm not going to get into it because I'm thinking of saving it for next week because Yeah, I wasn't that impressed, to be honest. And I was really disappointed, like really super disappointed, because it really looked like precisely the kind of game that I normally love. Like, because it was kind of looked a bit like it was a kind of like Animal Crossing meets like sort of Zelda without any combat and all that kind of stuff, and it looks really nice. But I was just really bored. I didn't really enjoy it that much. And
you didn't play Stardew Valley, did you?
I did, yeah. I played
that. Oh, you did?
Yeah, but you didn't play it enough, did you?
No, I can't say I put like a lot of hours into it, but that was significantly better than this, like significantly. And I mean,
that's a shame because I was well up for this, but it sounds like you've gone in with the same hopes that I currently have, and didn't enjoy it. So yeah, I mean, that's that.
It felt. I mean, this will sound weird, but it felt like a iPhone or Facebook game. In the sense of like there's not a lot of depth. I mean, there is depth in terms of like gameplay mechanics to a degree, but it's all just like fetch quests, like constant just fetch quests. And I mean, one of the biggest problems I had with it was that it was kind of sold as saying that you can do like crafting, like you can like build your own stuff, but you don't really. Like it's basically in a menu. You go into a menu and you say, okay, I want to build, like I don't know. Like what's that? Like a barn. I want to build like a small barn, but you can't like actually design it in any way at all. It's just like a pre-made one, and then you just dump it down somewhere.
It's such a weird thing that like there are so many games that offer air quotes crafting, but like you say, it's just picking stuff from menus, and I feel like Minecraft is probably responsible for this, but people seem to forget that, so in Minecraft, you would build, tools and stuff, which was just picking stuff from a menu, but you actually designed and built your own stuff as well. And
it wasn't just picking from a menu, was it? Yeah, because you had to get the right ingredients and then put them in the right order and everything.
It was that.
There was a little bit more to it.
It's also the fact that you can use like a forge and stuff like that to do it, which even though it's still a menu, the fact that you're doing it by like clicking on like something to like make it happen gives you like a connection with the world. And when you're doing it just through a menu, like completely just through a menu, I just felt no connection at all with what was going on.
What's the alternative, Sean? What is it? You want to get a little? You want to get some tools packed in that you can use to whittle away a stick.
Yeah, I want to be able to like get a tree and actually have I want a VR controller, so I have to saw away at it and then
saw a tree.
And I want to build my own lathe, which I can then use. I think Minecraft strikes the right balance in that, you sort of your real fiddly stuff like your tools and like say like ovens and what have you. That you're basically doing that through a menu. Like you say, I know you have to find the right bits and arrange them in the right way, but it's not particularly hands-on, but like certainly there's no creativity involved. But then that leads into, right, and then how am I going to build my house? And how am I going to lay it out? And how am I going to do, all these things? And I think games like this really need that. Like, Animal Crossing has that to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, you don't design the layout of your house as such. Well, you do, but not in terms of the building, but at least you deck it out in the way that you want. And that's huge.
And that's the thing. There has to be, like, motivation for doing stuff like that. And the big problem that I felt with this game is I didn't feel any motivation to do anything, really, because everything felt so prescribed. And, you can argue that maybe it's like a kind of, my first RPG kind of thing. But, like, my daughter, like, she really enjoyed playing Zelda because it lets you do pretty much anything you want. Whereas with this, you can really like make a mark on the world in Zelda. Like, you can like do all sorts of stuff with it. Whereas you can't do that with this. And I just couldn't. And also, I mean, if you think about like Animal Crossing, aside from like the fact that you're like customizing your own house, and there's also like the dialogue as well, which is pretty good. Like you have conversations with people. Sometimes it's pretty funny. Whereas with this, there was no, like the writing was not that great. And I felt no like reason that I wanted to talk to anyone in the world, because I was just like, well, you're just going to give me a quest where I've got to go and fetch something and bring it back to you. And it's like, that's not a lot of fun, really. But it's such a shame because it just looks amazing. It looks a really nice game, but I don't know, I just didn't enjoy it so much. So aside from that, it's just been Heavy Rain, which...
Okay, so the non-spoily chat Heavy Rain stuff. I do want to say this in this part of the show. James, watching your final episode, I think you got into it a bit. I mean, it's not a spoiler to say that at the end you went, what a journey that was. Yeah. I felt that it did. I mean, we said a couple of weeks ago, or it might have been last week, that I think when everything comes together, you'll realise that a lot of the stuff you've been brushing off as bullshit actually does work.
Well,
we'll get to that at the end, but I do feel that you have come away from that enjoying that game, certainly more than you did when you were about halfway through and having a bit of a dip with it.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say overall, I did kind of enjoy playing it. Aside from the fact that some parts are absolutely hilarious and just that, unintentionally, and I enjoyed that part of it. But also by the end, I did enjoy it. I didn't, even though what happened to me was terrible, the ending was absolutely appalling. I didn't feel shortchanged particularly by the ending. I thought the ending was fine in the sense of, so the trouble is I can't really talk about this without spoiling stuff.
I think the ending was deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I felt. I mean, I got a terrible ending, obviously, which is clear. But I felt I deserved that because I hadn't been paying attention through
been trying
through quite a lot of the game, and so I felt I deserved that. It was totally fair. What had happened. But even so, when I think back, there's a lot of stuff that does make sense from the ending, but there's also still. I've got 26 points here of stuff that doesn't make any sense.
We'll go through that.
Yes. My memory of the game is patchy because it's been a while, but there are massive bits that you just didn't do or see.
It's nuts.
That's why I'm wondering whether the points that I've got here, whether you're going to be able to tell me they do make sense and it's just stuff that I've missed or I've been stupid.
Almost definitely. I was surprised. There's a whole climactic ending.
The whole bit at the end
I got.
Yeah, you basically missed a massive section at the end.
It was 20 minutes.
Yeah, in a different. Yeah, I won't say too much, I guess, but we'll save it for the end. But yeah, it was amazing.
Right, okay. This is what sums up James Farley's playthrough of Heavy Rain. It was like Toy Story 3, where the credits roll as they're going into the furnace. Right, that was because we've all seen better endings, and we're going, "Oh yeah, no, that was really good." And then watching it again, but watching James play through and just thinking, "Wait, no, it doesn't really end there. Oh my god, that's horrific! Jesus Christ, they're all dead."
Because I didn't manage to watch it live, but I've since watched them on Twitch, and by the time you listen to this, the final James Plays Heavy Rain is actually on our YouTube channel, so search for it on there and you'll see the finale on there. But I watched the 2 Twitch streams because I had seen them before tonight's recording, and I was thinking, hang on, there's only an hour, there's only 20 minutes left, but he's got loads to do. Nope, it's just suddenly ended. There wasn't loads extra to do, it just ended. I was like, that's okay.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think... you could remember how old that game is.
That's not an excuse. That, for whatever you're going to say, that is not an excuse. For anything that's wrong with it, it's not an excuse, but go on.
Well, yeah, I mean, the animations and stuff, and, what I will say is that I stand by the fact that I thought that was a decent game and well worth playing when it came out.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's worth playing, just not entirely always for the right reasons, I think. But go on.
James, you had a good time with it.
I did have a good time with it, but most of the stuff that I enjoyed was the hilariously bad stuff.
James, you say that, but you had some moments where you were gasping at what was going on.
Yeah,
genuine, like at that sort of moment. Not ha ha ha, that's funny. There was like the actual reveal of who the killer was. Mm-hmm. You were like, wait a minute, no.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, that was good, admittedly. Yeah.
And I stand by the fact that I thought that was decent. Beyond Two Souls, which is the game that you're going to start this week or next week,
I've never said that.
No, you didn't need to say it, I'm telling you. You need to do that.
I can't do it this soon. I need a break.
That is genuinely terrible. It's got some good moments in it. There's one scene that I remember being decent, and I thought the ending was actually handled pretty well. But the rest of that game is just appalling.
Oh, I can't wait for that stream because I never played.
I don't know if it's going to be as funny, Matt.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's going to be as funny.
Is it too serious? Not serious enough? Or
it's more that the stuff is just bad rather than funny bad.
Bad as in not fun bad, or just
not fun bad. Just like, oh my god, what is? and it's not even. I don't know. Actually, there's a few scenes that might be really.
I'm
fucking
sure
funny.
James can get some humour out of that. I mean,
the scene when she starts hanging out with the homeless people is just. I mean,
it's already.
It's so bad. It's so bad. And you can press like the wrong thing to make stuff happen. I remember telling you, Sean, at the time that there was a bit in it where I was like, okay, do this. And then she does something completely unintentional. And you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
See, I'm just imagining like David Cage's idea of how the world works, like from what you see in Heavy Rain, just transposing to like social problems. I just can't imagine what that's going to be like.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like very, it's like if stereotypes were homeless, that's what it was. I was sitting there going, "Oh, that's that one. That's that one." Yeah.
In terms of in terms of technology, though, is it clearly a generation? Is it clear generational leap compared to Heavy Rain? Is animation much better and graphics?
I remember the animation and graphics, and definitely the sound, the voice acting being a lot better in Beyond than it was. But then I didn't really think it was that bad in Heavy Rain until I watched it back, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Again, at the time,
that was something though that I wondered about whether, because I was playing it on PS4, and it's like obviously like a port from the PS3 version. All that stuff with, especially with Scott Shelby, with opening his mouth really wide from time to time. I just wondered whether that was in the PS3 version or whether that's just.
I wonder if it was. I don't
pretty sure
remember
it was. I think.
I mean, there was the funniest bit was when he was playing golf with that guy, and then he stops, and then he goes to walk away, and he sort of turns his head round, and he just gapes his mouth open, and it just
it sort of looks like he's maybe like, is he supposed to be yawning? Like if he was making a sound, he'd be just sort of like
that. No,
I don't know. But okay, so the Heavy Rain spoiler chat's going to be amazing at the end. Be sure to stay tuned. Let's get through a few questions and emails because I can't be up to it. I am shattered, and I'm visiting your hometown tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the morning, James.
Really?
Yeah, I can't tell you where. Well, you know where that is, but I can't tell people where that is. But I'm driving down there.
What are you down here for? Is it for work, presumably?
Doing a bit of work down there, Lid. Got a building, got to sort it out. Know what I mean? So I'm going to go and do some scoping of the local area and all that sort of shit. That's going to be fun.
Emails.
Okay, James.
Good chat.
Read the room.
Phil, don't start. We've only just. This is just the right beginning. Phil Laidler says,
"My name is James.
When Shadows of the Empire came out on the N64, I played through it with two friends. We reached an area in a cargo bay which was full of boxes. We destroyed all the boxes to find collectibles, then tried to move on but couldn't. There was a switch in the room that closed the cargo doors on the first floor and opened the doors on the second floor. They moved too fast to be able to run through and up the stairs before they closed, and the jetpack was too slow as well. We even ended up calling one of those hint hotlines on the back of a magazine for help. They just told us to flick the switch and go to the second floor. Eventually, after at least a couple of hours, we figured out that the way to proceed was simply to not destroy all of the boxes and use them to climb to the second floor. Have you ever been stuck on a puzzle that was so simple, but for some reason you just didn't get it?
Oh, I constantly. That constantly happens to me, where I think, oh my god, there is no way to get past this. I can't think of any specifics though, but there's been times where I've been like, oh my god, there's literally no way to get past this, and then you look it up on YouTube and go, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had that a few times in The Last Guardian. And I was like, am I just being an idiot? And then it was like, it was a weird mechanic, or sometimes the animal would do it and sometimes it wouldn't. I'm like, I think I know this is a way to get through this gate, or particularly in the water
surely
section.
That was mostly the game's fault, though.
Yeah, and I was like, am I being an idiot, or is this not the way? Or
Game was fine. There was no problem with any of that. But, yeah.
Were you all over that, James?
Yeah, I love that game. It was great.
Wow. Okay. Oof.
Yeah, there have been tons of examples. I mean, tons of times this happened. And the trouble, because I don't have as much gaming time as I would like. So if I'm stuck even for like 30 seconds, I'm like, look, I'm just going to have to look at a guide because I'm not going to waste an hour trying to figure out this puzzle when I want to get through this game in the next like 14 years. So, yeah, unfortunately these days I don't give it very long until I think, oh, sod it, just check the answer because I can't waste time.
Yeah. I love games where there's a puzzle where it's kind of like you can do it any way you want. Like, you've got that, like Zelda Breath of the Wild was definitely like that with the shrines. Hey, there's no real right or wrong way. If you work out how to do it, then all good. I love it when games does that, but it does make me not trust the game. You know what I mean? Like, there are times where you're just thinking, oh, this is too loose and letting me do what I want. Maybe it's fucked and I should restart. And you know what I mean? Do you not get that?
No, I prefer it. I hate it when I really don't like stuff where there's just one solution to things. It just irritates me. It's like, just give me freedom, let me do it, and I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, but too much freedom, and I will say
don't trust it. It's all about very specific answers, but I will say with The Witness,
no.
I mean...
See, Matt, as we were talking about that, I just bought that because it was really cheap.
Good.
And now I'm terrified what you just said.
No, you'll be fine.
I haven't played a lot. I've only done about 50 of the puzzles, and there's hundreds. But and I every week I think when I hear like Midnight Resistance or I've been talking about it, I mean, I want to get back to that game because I was loving it and stopped because I went to another game, whatever. But yeah, those puzzles are loads of ones I've done. They have very specific ways to do them. But it's so satisfying in that game to just to let yourself think about it for a bit or go to another puzzle and come back and then you might get it. Like, I didn't ever want to look at answers for that because I felt like half the fun of that game was trying to solve it yourself. And most of the puzzles are grouped in a group of other puzzles where there's a system that gradually evolves. So you might have like 4 or 5 puzzles in a row. It's very obvious in the first one, this is how you solve this type of puzzle. And you get to like the 5th or 6th puzzle in that group. And you're like, what I thought was the process to solve this puzzle isn't. Now I have to go back and think, what other ways were there to do the easy one that would then satisfy the solution for the last one? Anyway, that game is so satisfying. And that game, particularly, I was taking loads of pictures on my phone and sort of using a drawing app to draw like routes through the puzzles. I that was a game in recent years I've taken the most amount of photos using my phone to try and work out things and compare things on my phone to the thing in game. It's brilliant. I'm glad you've also got it though, Farley, because that'd be good to hear you both your opinions on the game next week.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Did you do the twin mountain shrines in Zelda Breath of the Wild?
Me?
Yeah.
The twin mount? I mean...
Yeah, there's 2 shrines, one on each mountain, and you have to remember a code from one of the shrines, go to the other, put in the balls in specific places
that sounds
to match
great.
that code.
No, I didn't know.
It was, but like at first I was like, oh my god, how am I going to remember this? Oh yes, I've got an in-game camera thing that I can literally just take a photo of it and take it to the next one. Yeah, it totally felt like cheating, but you know, what am I going to do? I ain't going to be bothered to fucking remember all that shit.
For The Witness, I'll definitely resist looking at answers. I think you'll get a lot more out of it.
Because like, not only do you ruin the enjoyment of getting it right, but you don't, like, it's all about developing that understanding. Like Matt says, it's this really sort of incremental, like, building up your understanding of each mechanic. And therefore, if you start cheating, you just, like...
It makes it even harder to work it out later on.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It just makes it impossible.
Okay, cool. Next question.
Simon Marshall, he says, hey folks, I hope you're all well. I'm playing through Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin at the moment. I wanted to hear what you all thought about it, particularly Dave and Sean, as you two seem the most likely to have played it. Is it something you played through and just forgotten about? Did you give up or did you enjoy it? I've just recently finished the original Dark Souls after completing Bloodborne, then Dark Souls 3, which is a weird order, I know, and Dark Souls 2 doesn't feel as grand as the others. I can't recall you folks having a chat about the game before. I wanted to hear what you thought about it, especially after the impact the original had on Dave, Sean, and Dark Halls. Keep up the good work. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, I never played it, but I think you did, Sean.
Yeah, I did. So I played it when it first came out, and it was fine, but obviously nowhere near as good as the first, unfortunately. However, I do really like Scholar of the First Sin. Like, it makes a lot of improvements over the base game. Just like a lot of it's just like enemy placement and stuff, but it adds a bit more story stuff, which, like, Dark Souls 2 originally, even for a Dark Souls game, was pretty bare bones. Didn't make a huge amount of sense. It was like, it sort of felt like it was happy to just rest on, like, oh, look, it is set in the same world, and that's clever, innit? Look, here's some characters you've seen before. But that wasn't really enough for people to really get the teeth into. But Scholar of the First Sin does add a lot of interesting stuff, and the 3 DLC packs that are all part of Scholar of the First Sin. There's one of them in particular, the snowy one with all the fog and this ruined city. It's absolutely stunning. It's probably my favourite bit of a Dark Souls game. So yeah, like it's up there with Dark Souls 3 for me. But no, nothing touches the first, unfortunately.
Dark Souls 3 was so good.
Yeah.
No one really talks about it though, because it felt like it didn't quite have the depth that the others did. But...
Yeah, the saddest thing for me about Dark Souls 3 is the fact that like no one's talked about the DLC. Like the DLC's definitely come out, and
yeah, people. I mean, I've heard good things about it. But...
Yeah, but yeah, just the interest has waned, hasn't it?
Okay, David Rush says, "Evening all. The recent success, well, he did kill everyone, of Farley's playthrough of Heavy Rain was arguably one of my video highlights of the year, and is evidence that Farley is not only the king of Twitch, trademark pending, but also the rising star of the TGS pod ranks. Given that this new fame and notoriety would do serious damage to the power balance of the show, currently being 1 Turner, 2 Bell, / Murray, 3 Giraffes, 4 Luigi Sans head, 5 Murray's beard, and 6 Farley, and will be territory that Farley will be unfamiliar with, what will be his ultimate downfall? In the spirit of the Colin Moriarty, the former IGN and founding member of Kinda Funny, what will Farley's Moriarty moment be? Keep up the great work, and even though the format is dying."
Well, I mean, probably if you started streaming Dead or Alive, some of your comments during that would definitely, you'd be
my mind went to Dead or Alive
Twitter
straight away as well.
Yeah.
I thought he would accidentally like tweet a woman saying, "Oh, can you do your hair like 101s in Dead or Alive?" Or some sort of, "Oh, that was meant to be a DM."
Also, out of that whole email, I feel more sorry for Sean than anyone else, because Sean has
he's way ahead of me.
Written for massive publications. He's done his own podcast for so many years. He's the only GMA nominated person on this show. Yet he's still on a par with Matt.
Well, what's done for this show though?
I mean, I assume
a couple of tweets.
I mean, it's the power balance of the show, right? And this is like a separate little bubble to the rest of the world. I'm quite happy to be alongside Matt.
Think about the effort. Think about effort, right? That's it.
Think about that effort, Sean. Fucking hell. What, Matt? What?
Sean doesn't do anything. It just comes off and does a podcast.
That is a good point.
Exactly.
That is a good point.
I'm all day every day trying to create stuff for Twitter.com.
Yeah, I know, but it's mostly bad. Sean comes along and, he says his things and it's all good. And not only that, he's, when you've had a career, then you can, just wander in and help people out, and you still end up pretty high up the list.
When I went to Glas Games a year or so back, and they asked me and Chris Spann to do the quiz. So we were one of the teams, and Gav, who introduced us, obviously he was joking, but he introduced me as the most famous person on the panel. And I mean, that was weird. Even as a joke, that was a weird thing to have to answer to. But I completely forgot.
But then you were sat next to Chris, so what I mean.
Well, there is that. Yeah, but after that, Chris Scullion came out, and I was like, hang on a minute, it's calling me the most famous, but it doesn't even doesn't work on any level, because I'm just not even if I was definitely the least famous person, then it would work as a joke. But I'm definitely not the most famous person either, because Chris Scullion was there.
Yeah, you judged that wrong.
So it doesn't really work.
Poor old Gav.
totally lost the room.
Yeah. Poor old Gav. Yeah. That happened when? How long ago?
That was about 18 months ago.
And you're still criticising his comedy?
Yeah, it was the first time it's come up. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's any one of a number of things that James could be doing. James could do wrong to have his Moriarty moment. So far, you're doing fine, James.
I'm just going to quit
people.
while I'm ahead.
I think just people finding who he follows on Instagram. I think will be enough.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Also, people are definitely going to find out that you voted Tory. That's going to come out at some point.
How dare you? That is the worst thing you've ever said to me.
You're trying to protect your wealth. We'll never understand it, but let's not shy away from it. Go on, next question.
Kurt Lewin says, "Hi chaps, I'll be going on holiday soon and always take a portable game to play while I'm travelling and in my downtime. I've exhausted everything on Vita and wanted to go back to my DS. Yes, the original DS, not 3DS. And wondered if you could recommend some games, as I feel I missed out on a lot. when it was released, as I came to it late and mainly played PSP games to my portable fix. I'm not a big RPG or strategy fan, and I've already completed Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, Ghost Trick, GTA, Chinatown Wars, Mario & Luigi, and the Pokemon games. Also, I really enjoyed David's Scout stories a few episodes back, and on the subject of toilets in Heavy Rain, what was the worst toilet experience or worst toilets you have seen in real life? That's good.
Right, okay. So let's take this one by one. Do you know what the answer is, don't you, James?
Well, the Phoenix Wright games, obviously. But...
Yes, absolutely. And they're so perfect for holidays as well, because I played most of mine on holiday, because you can just pause it and stop. Like, it's like reading a book, but better, because it's not just like words. There's also people pointing at each other and stuff.
There's music as well, unless you're Matt.
Unless you're Matt.
I don't remember any music when I played.
Goddamn, Phoenix Wright is just the perfect holiday game for that system. Definitely play that if you haven't already.
Also,
was there one like it, like Hotel Dusk?
I was going to say Hotel Dusk, yeah.
That's also quite good.
Absolute banger, that.
I never played that.
Did you not?
Maybe I should.
Very good. It's just one of those games where, like, pretty much all the writing is just dialogue, right? But it's just so well done that, like, you can hear the characters in your head, even like it's just like every character has like really obvious sort of like their own little vocal tics and like their own accent and their own, like, it's just so well written.
David Cage should have played it, before Heavy Rain, probably, because it's got a similar kind of vibe to it, and it's a good game.
Yeah. Both touch darts and touch golf are brilliant.
If you can get hold of that,
of course.
You find it.
You get hold of it. Excellent recommendations there. What was the other stuff he asked?
Worst toilet.
Worst toilet. I mean, I've been some absolute horrible ones. Going to football grounds, pubs near football grounds are the worst. Just the toilets are disgusting. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to get worse than literally shitting in a bucket in a tiny little 1/2 metre by 1/2 metre tent on scout camp. That's as bad as it gets.
I don't know. Try squat toilets in China, Dave.
Good point, James. You got me beat there.
Did I tell you about when I had flu? God, it must have been about 6 months ago or something. And I needed the toilet, and I went to the toilet, and my body just decided like that was it. It was gonna just boil the illness out. Like obviously, you get a fever, and that's just like a constant thing, and that's the whole point is that it makes it inhospitable for the virus. And it's like, I sat down on the toilet, and body was like, right, you've got 30 seconds, and I just started like flash sweating, like it was just pouring off me, like my eyesight was going, and I was hanging off because we have the rabbit enclosures like next to the toilet in the bathroom, right? Because it's just there was space there, so it seemed to make sense at the time. I was fucking hanging off that. On my way into the bathroom, just out of habit, I'd locked the door, so I was like, I could call my wife for help, but A, you don't want to see me like this, and B, she'd have to kick the door in. And there was a moment where I was just like, this is it. This is how I get found. I'm going to fall on the floor, I'm going to spray poo everywhere, and I'm going to die.
Yeah, it's going to be the Elvis moment.
Exactly, yeah.
It's got like pint after pint of boiling hot magma like going everywhere.
Exactly. And then it just went, and I felt much better aside from having, when you're about to get a migraine, sometimes you get what they call an aura, like something across your vision. Have you ever had that?
Yeah. So
I never had it, but this was the first time I became aware. Yeah, it was like my vision was like split down the middle. There was like a weird...
Like a white light thing.
Yeah. So aside from that, I felt much better. So there you go. That's my worst ever toilet experience.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been... talk about toilets, right? You know that feeling as well. I mean, you won't know, Sean, but when you're insanely hungover to the point where you're being sick, that feeling is so, like, proper distinct because you're never on your hands and knees, unless you're seriously ill, you're never on your hands and knees in your toilet just throwing up into the toilet, like directly in the toilet. And that feeling of that cold sweats because you know it's coming, and then the cold tiles on your toilet floor, and the toilet feeling like it's just closing in on you as you're just thinking, I'm never going to get over this.
Yeah, but then
that feeling, like every now and then you sort of get a glimpse of it and just go, oh God, I need to stop drinking forever.
Don't you get the feeling of relief though after it's all over?
Never, not on a hangover.
Yeah, maybe not on a hangover, but you just like you're laying there and it's just like you got the cold sweats, but it's done. You're fine.
Yeah, when you're ill. I totally get that. I kind of feel like you feel a little bit euphoric, don't you? Because you've got it out and you feel a little bit better for a little bit. With a hangover, you're just left with a headache and you're just like, oh God, and I'm going to do it again in 10 minutes. It's the worst. It's the worst. I hate that. Matt? I mean, a toilet. Didn't you do some... I know a story about you in a toilet.
I've got a billion toilet stories. I mean, what
your stag do?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was
something.
There was also that time when we went up there, and was it Matt couldn't look up? I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Oh no! Oh yeah! And he was sick and pulled off his shower curtain because he fell over in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. But then before that, he locked himself in the toilet because some girls came over to talk to him, and then he freaked out and went to the toilet and was texting us saying, "We got to leave. We got to leave."
No, that was another incident. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't lock myself. Yeah, I know that one. No, I just said let's just leave. I didn't lock myself in the toilet because I clearly came downstairs and said we're going now.
No, you were texting us from the toilet.
Saying, we got to go. We got to go.
We got to go. We got to leave. They want to talk to us. And I went, well, they're only girls. We can talk to them. And he was going, no, we're leaving. No, the one on your stag do was in a strip bar. When you can never get lower than throwing up in a strip bar toilet. And Matt was right there. The bouncers had to be calmed down.
Look, I just went in, just had to do a little sick and move on. Yeah, I spent half my life in toilets, so how long have I got? But yeah, I mean, all the usual. I mean, there was one time I was at Leeds Festival. I got the really early ticket on a Wednesday. That the place was, the festival doesn't even start till the Friday, whatever. But I got there for Wednesday with my mate who was supposed to be there, but he a day before said I can't make it on a Wednesday. So I just went on my own. Thought fuck it, I booked a train ticket or whatever it was back in those days. So I got there, pitched up my tent, found some legal highs, did them. And it was a mess of an evening. And at one point I was seriously contemplating, like the big huge chemical toilets. I was seriously contemplating like going into it, and basically it's only because a man like banged on a door or made me jump or whatever that I didn't actually climb down into said toilet off my face. That would have been horrific. I probably would have died, I guess. I would have died.
Just because of the drugs?
Well,
that made you decide to jump down in
I mean, I'm like a couple of beers and I'm anyone, so yeah, let's move on, because there's
wow, Matt Murray.
Let's move
on.
Toilet man.
Okay. Bino says, hello guys, although I guess you will mention this during the show, but now that you are getting more involved in streaming, not just with James doing his Heavy Rain playthrough, but also with Jon Denton with Splatoon 2 and Lawbreakers beta, are you finding that having people watching improves your enjoyment of the games, and how so? What is next for your streaming? Is James going to do another game? Maybe someone else starts another and rotate that way? Also, to me, this is an exciting time to be a follower of both you guys and John. All that content coming out, I can hardly keep up. And yeah, there we go.
Oh, cheers, mate. Tap that B. No, absolutely does not make me enjoy it more. I mean, the stuff we've been doing with John has been a lot of fun, but you do have to watch what you're saying, and that kind of sort of dampens the enjoyment of playing with your mates a tad.
Yeah,
I've still enjoyed it, but I would much rather be just chatting and playing with my mates rather than worrying about anyone watching.
I mean, it'd probably help you enjoy something that was legitimately rubbish. Like, and you were just taking the piss out of it, or, just chatting to people as you were playing it. But I think I'd
laughing at the dialogue.
Yeah.
rooting for one of the side characters because he's got weird facial animations whenever. There's the boy see we know and love.
But yeah, I think I'd still rather just play something good on my own.
Yeah,
I think it definitely affects your enjoyment of the game. I mean, I absolutely love streaming. It's immensely fun. I love sort of watching the chat at the same time and answering questions. And we've done loads of streaming last week with John on Lawbreakers and Splatoon. It's amazing fun. But I will say, I think it definitely affects your enjoyment of the game, both positively and negatively. I think I obviously love, say, games like Last of Us. I think if I played Last of Us but streamed it, obviously wouldn't have really engaged with the story at all. So I think story-heavy games, I think you're more focusing on performing on the stream rather than actually getting involved. I don't think it can really grab you. So, games that I really love like that, like say Last of Us or story-heavy games, I don't think they work because I think I would just play through them and I'd not even really pay attention to the story. It's just really whatever, say, a funny or enjoyable bits could I glean out of the game. So I think those games I'm not sure they work so well, but yeah, I mean, the actual streaming is immensely fun. And after I did all the Uncharted games, after that, it just felt natural to play a game and have people commenting and chatting along the way. And for certain games where you don't have to worry about story and you can just turn your mind off, as it were, and just enjoy the game for what it is, I think it's brilliant. Other games where there probably is a bit more of an emotional investment, they don't work. Like I mean, obviously we're never going to know now, but I would love to see James's thoughts on Heavy Rain were he not streaming, and if he would have got way more into it, or if he would have questioned it less.
I think probably I would have been quite a lot more forgiving. I think if I wasn't streaming it, it's just a bit different.
Yeah,
I think streaming feels a lot like when I got my first proper camera, in that you like every time you go for a day out or whatever, you sort of feel like you should bring it. And if you do it a lot and you're good at it, people then start asking, "Oh yeah, you're going to bring your camera?" And you're like there is a joy in taking the camera and taking nice pictures, and that is enjoyable in and of itself, but it interferes with the day and it interferes with you just being, just sort of being present, And I think streaming's a similar sort of thing in that it brings its own fun in a way, but it's still sort of, there's that, you're sort of thinking about how everything's being perceived, and that, of course, that changes your experience of it. So it's weird. But
I think I did it for like 4 nights in a row last week with John, and
same.
After a while, it's just like that's what we did on an evening, and it was great fun. It didn't feel like, I'm going to do a big streaming tonight. It's just that's what gaming was in the evenings, and it didn't. After a few nights in a row, it's just let's get a game on, let's listen to a chat. Like this, like Bino, this person who wrote this letter, he was in the chat every night, and a peer scientist, Ben Simon, loads of people were in every night, and it was great to see them come back.
It was also great to see when you went over to, or like when we were streaming, someone would say it just come from James Farley's stream. So they'd watch Farley play and then come over and watch us play.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. There's some cool people. There's some cool dudes out there for sure.
Can I say one thing slightly related to this, and that's about Discord? I'll be quick.
No, you're not going to...
I just wanted to mention it. So obviously Nintendo's app and whatnot, and everyone's like, I'll just use Discord. And after using Discord for the streaming over last week, I think it's absolutely brilliant now. And it's what I love about it is that obviously we've got our own Discord channel that everyone gets involved in, and we use Discord for recording this podcast as well. The fact that we could just, John and I were using that for our own voice chat, and I presume he also records that for this streamed audio. But the fact that, Dave, you could just jump on the chat and suddenly you're on the stream, and Farley could jump on and Sean could jump on, I think that's so good, and that is...
I thought about this,
I think that definitely is better than parties. No, let me just finish this point before you say I'm totally wrong. Obviously, we've had parties on Xbox and PlayStation for years, and it's great how it works. But if someone's streaming, or even if they're not streaming, and you say, "Oh, cool, I'll play you guys," you'll probably text them, like invite me, or you have to invite them. They have to leave the game, accept the invite, etc. But Discord's just brilliant. I just knew I'll just go on the channel, automatic. There's no invite, there's no nothing. I love the fact that you guys can jump in. It will feel almost like a call-in show at times. I love the fact you can just jump in and chat, and it's really easy.
But Matt, when you're saying, "Oh yeah, you know, if we're playing on PS4 or whatever, you have to text me and let me know that you're going on." But you were doing that for Discord as well. All right, we're going on Discord. Okay.
Well,
What's the difference?
I didn't have to after the 4th night of streaming. When John's like, "Okay, we're streaming," I just went in and he was there. I mean, I came on late. And...
Yeah, but you could again, like, what I do is I log onto my Xbox, see my mates are in a party chat, and join them.
Yeah, I know. I also love the fact that we can switch platforms and the party chat's still going. I don't want to address
that. Okay. I mean, you're not addressing my counterpoints.
I mean, yeah, I'm
she's still not doing it. What's going on?
I just wanted to say that I've liked Discord a lot more over last week, and now I fully get it. It's not just a replacement for the Nintendo app, and it's super useful, and yeah, it's so easy and it's so clear.
I like it as well. I think it is good. I just wish that the headsets all worked on it, and I wish that this isn't Discord's fault. I wish that Apple didn't get rid of that pissing fucking headset thing. It's just ridiculous. The longer I've owned this phone, the more angry I've got about them removing the headphone jack. Like, it's insane. But my brother come back with an S8. Is it S8 the latest one? He's just bought an S8, and it's just as thin as the iPhone, and it's got a headphone jack. So, like, what's the why?
It's courage, David.
Awful.
Yeah, absolute courage.
Forgot about all that courage.
Little weak melts. No courage. Pathetic.
Well, I'm pretty convinced that I'm moving across after the next.
Enjoy the app ecosystem.
Yeah, but Matt,
I just want to enjoy. Now? Can we just?
Yeah, that's
save it for interface.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we do some tweets?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's.
Yeah, just a couple of tweets.
Okay, these are from some of these are from last week, so because we didn't get to them.
Thanks for tweeting in last week.
Craig Rich says latest Professor Layton is on iOS. 16 nuggets plus IAPs for a mobile game. What's the price threshold on phone games?
It depends what the in-app purchases are, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that does seem a bit steep that you're asking for 16 quid.
Yeah, but
then
what are they for?
I bet they're for those little hint points, whatever they were.
Oh, mate, that would be disgusting to charge 16 quid for that.
I've heard that this is a bit rubbish as well. I think it was Kate Graves tweeting about it, saying that basically half the puzzles just seem to be like riddles rather than actual puzzles, and just like, I have 3 heads and what am I? Not great apparently, which is a shame.
I was never totally into Layton.
No, I enjoyed the first.
Music.
I enjoyed the first one and then fell right off it with one of the later ones.
Are these new ones coming on iOS? Are these like original games for iOS and all platforms? Or are these still?
So, yeah.
This one is it's on Android as well. It's on Android as well. Android is good.
I don't know. Android. It's not a fan.
I would say in terms of the threshold for price for mobile games, I always find anything over £5 really puts me off.
Yeah. And it's so shit because it can be a game that you know has cost the same on another format, and you've said to yourself, "Oh, if that was portable, I'd have it." But then suddenly, you're looking at the App Store or the Play Store or whatever, and like there's like XCOM, I think was like 10 quid, and I was like, "No, I can't do it." So why not? Why can't I do it? Because
it's a perception thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm done with mobile games. I don't play them anymore.
James, how much did you pay? Because you played all of Walking Dead on iOS, didn't you? How much did you pay for that?
No, I didn't play all of it. I played season 2 on iPad because I was away in China at the time, and it wasn't great. It's not.
How much was that?
I think it was about £4 per episode or something like that. It's about the same as on like Xbox or whatever, but it wasn't a great way to do it, I don't think.
Okay, next cue.
Okay, Athene says, finally, Farley clearly hates being on the podcast. Which of his Dunderhead Heavy Rain
read that out.
Yeah. Which of his Dunderhead Heavy Rain characters would you rather have replace him?
It's got to be. Hang on, can we have Blake?
You've got to have Blake. There's no other
Blake. Yeah. I agree with James.
I just want to hear him shout at David, "Fucking asshole!"
And how big is this area? The way he just shrugs and looks over to his mate. Yeah. Yeah, he'd fit right in.
He's amazing. He was on my list of things I liked about it. He was on the list. It's
I'd completely forgotten he even existed.
Really?
Until I watched. He wasn't a big character of mine.
Considering trying to contact the voice actor, to be honest, because I wanted to know what he thought of the game afterwards. But yeah, I probably won't do that.
Do loads of prank calls until he finally calls you a fucking arsehole.
If only. Oh, that would be so good. Anyway.
The only person on the face of the planet that James would get starstruck over is the guy that voiced Blake in Heavy Rain.
James going, call me a fucking arsehole again.
Yeah. Come on.
Say Greg Glasses.
Can you leave an answer phone for my mate? Just leave an answer phone message. Just call him a fucking arsehole, please.
Anyway, Rukkaku Police says, if you were having a dinner party but could only invite 2 other members of the TCGS crew, who would you pick and why?
This is a great question.
Oh, this is horrible.
It's easy for me, and I apologise, but there are reasons. It would be Matt and James.
Okay.
And that's not a slight on you, Sean. Mm-hmm. I've known Matt and James for a long time, and it would that's the way it's got to go, I'm afraid. That is bad. That sounds bad. I don't mean it like that.
You've just made my choice easy. I'll just have Matt and James as well. I do find that quite weird because you know Matt and James through me. Yeah.
So, I know Matt and James. I've known them for fucking years, man. But, yeah, sorry, Sean.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's got to be Matt and James. You'll go Matt and James. Matt?
Well, it'd be you and it'd be Dave and James. I'm sorry, Sean, only because this is a boring question.
Unbelievable.
It's like who knows each other longest?
It's not because it's created a proper tension up in here, and that's what we want, James.
I'm going to pick Sean.
Thank you.
That's a pity choose. He's doing it to be weird.
No, listen, guys. Right, I'm definitely the best cook out of all of us, so you can all fuck off.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you say that, but then you do all this sort of weird shit. I just want
cooking,
just
Dave.
Normal, straightforward meal. I don't want it soaked in oak and coke.
Actually, that sounds great. Soaked in oak and coke.
Oh, I've got an oak and coke burger.
The
okie it's never fun having a proper meal and all that when someone's not drinking. I'm going to tell it like it is. Go on, James. Who would you pick? Well, Sean?
I said Sean, but then you see the other two. It's more difficult to choose between you and Matt because it depends on what kind of a meal I want. Do I want one with just hassle and abuse? That means I pick you.
Or do you want one with me?
Or do I want or do I want one that's going to be more pleasant and probably a bit more fun? I'll go for Matt. So I don't know.
It's definitely more fun.
How would it be? Right, okay, James.
No. James he's made his bed.
No,
more
James.
Fun and pleasant.
No, let me just ask you a question. Right, when we argue and we have a row, are you genuinely not having fun?
No, I'm having fun to a degree.
That took way too long to answer that.
Yeah. I think he still loves me. It doesn't matter.
No, the thing is, I get it, but when James and I are proper going at it, or we're both proper having fun, and it's weird. It's weird. I get that, but I always come out of those just thinking it's the funniest.
See, but the thing is, we've already had a row over dinner. In that restaurant that time over Gears of War.
First night we met, yeah.
And that was...
one of the first nights we met.
And that was awful. So I don't know. I'll go for Matt and Sean. There you
go. Really? Really? You wouldn't know these two if it wasn't for me. That's an absolute disgrace,
that's great. I was on everyone's list.
Absolute disgrace.
Matt's getting well fed.
Yeah.
How is Matt on everyone's list? Oh, because he's kind of harmless and...
What's that?
Oh, well, you've not got that personality that you can dislike. You haven't got that edge, yeah.
A really boring sponge.
Yeah, like a boring sponge cake.
A big fucking sponge cake. I ever loved them though. It's harmless,
SpongeBob
sponge.
Square Matt.
Yeah, SpongeBob Square twat. No, let's move on.
Okay. Muscularly says Crash Bandicoot in its 3rd week. I think it's its 4th week now.
Yeah, it's 4th week now.
Outsold Splatoon 2 at launch. Is democracy just ultimately a bad idea?
Popular things are never good. Sean.
Say capitalism is just a bad idea.
Also, game on console with way more consoles sold in homes. Sells more. Yeah, Shocker.
Still weird though.
It is.
Still weird. But there you go.
But Splatoon 2 will have a longer tail on it,
number one.
Probably.
What's that, sorry?
So Splatoon 2 will probably have a longer tail on it. Nintendo first-party stuff generally does.
Speaking of game sales, the one more shocking... Well, maybe it isn't shocking. Basically, the biggest selling physical game of 2017 is Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
It sold 375,000 copies. That's the biggest selling game of the year.
Yeah.
Physically.
But only 370,000? That makes you the biggest selling physical... No.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Go on, let's not get into sales figures. Okay. It's boring.
You guys do this and I'll find out, but I'm fairly sure that's a number.
That sounds like bollocks. 370,000 copies sold makes you the biggest selling game of the year so far.
Okay, let me just check. You guys do the questions and I'll check.
Matt's fucked it, clearly.
No way, I have not. This is
James. Okay, Scientologist says we all know James's true nemesis was that door in Heavy Rain. But what is everyone else's video game nemesis?
That last orb. I say this all the time, but that last fucking orb in Crackdown, the first one, the last green orb. I had 499. Was there? No, 199. Whatever. I had one more orb to get in that game, and I've never got it. And it kills me to this day that I haven't got it. Maybe I should stream that, finding the last orb.
I'd rather you stream Banjo Kazooie.
You can stream that shit as well, because Crackdown's backwards compatible on Xbox One.
Yeah, just like Banjo. You can do that.
Yeah. I'll stream it. I don't know what you're going to get out of it, though, James. Like, I've said I'm not good at the game. I don't know what you want. Matt, have you found out where you've gone wrong yet?
No, I've actually better than that. So actually, that sold only 334,280 physical copies, but that is the biggest selling physical game out this year. GTA
What's the
5.
source?
Eurogamer.co.uk. Is UK video, is basically Chart Tracker gave them the details. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so GTA 5, UK's best selling physical video game, 334,000.
Right, okay.
The next one behind that is Ghost Recon Wildlands with 311,000.
Thought it might be.
And then after that, it's like Horizon, 286,000, etc., etc. But yeah,
that really is dog shit, isn't it? That really is. Those figures are low.
Well, no, I mean, like, obviously, so many games are selling on digital now, so a lot of
but it's still not over 50%.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
So we're saying not a single game has sold more than 1 million.
I've told you the answers. GTA's the biggest selling physical game of the year. Crazy.
Yeah. Still don't believe it. Go on.
Okay, Athene again. She says, Farley clearly enjoyed the awkward sex scene in Heavy Rain. What's your favourite video game sex scene? I can't think of
Has there ever been a good one?
No.
Well, there's some good ones in The Witcher, right?
I don't know. They've made me feel a bit ill. The one on the horse.
The one on the boat was alright.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one. I've never seen a sex scene in a game where I'm like, I'm happy these people are together. I'm glad this is happening for them.
Bless him.
Do you know what I mean?
Bless him. No one thinks that.
Obviously, they're never erotic. Have you seen obviously, that's plan B, but that never works out either.
It's not even erotic. Not even erotic. You're sitting there just going, "Go on, get stuck in my son."
Yeah, have you ever got one out to one? Come on.
See, what's worse, because I was playing Wolfenstein: The New Order the other day, and that's got like a scene in it, but it's not like in any way romantic, really.
Whereas it's not, but pretty well done.
That's the point, though, and it comes very early in the game and feels very awkward and forced. But it makes
what's that? Comes very early and feels very awkward, Sean.
Yeah, did you just say my life, mate? But no, in context later on, it sort of all makes sense.
It all comes together.
Yeah,
it's definitely worse when they try and make it all romantic. That's definitely worse, as we'll talk
about.
But
why is that? Why can't it be romantic, you know?
Yeah, it's making love, James.
I say that. I mean, I don't think I've ever been, like, convinced by a sex scene in a film or anything either. So maybe it's just a bad idea.
The Train Spotting one was good. Train Spotting one was good.
Yeah.
Here's the caption. After you get bored, I rewound that tape so much when I was a kid. I've still got that dun, 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 in my head. I did the ones in Mass Effect weren't too bad. Like the Miranda one was alright, although you didn't really see anything. She just popped her top off.
I just think it's better when they kind of cut away, you know, and it's like rather than having to experience the.
I'd love it if they cut away and then you just hear like a.
They never do that. No. In James Farley's words,
you did if you were in James' room, yeah.
In James' words, that's just a pad.
Of course it is.
That's just a pad.
Yeah,
I swear they put that on purpose. You know, like that stuff in.
One more, because we got Heavy Rain spoiler chat to do.
Which one's good here?
No. We're doing all these. James has filtered these. Come on.
No, I don't want to do all of these.
No.
Okay.
It's already late.
Yep.
All right, Indiana747 says, what's your take, Matt Murray, what's your take on the PUBG team stream sniping saga and bans? If you guys ever play PUBG on Twitch, would you delay stream to avoid it?
What's this about, Matt?
I believe that's basically where people are watching and they can see...
I'll tell people where they are.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Don't play PUBG on Twitch, but so I can't really answer your question properly there.
Cool. Right. One way to end
Indiana.
it. Okay, Matt, Twitch and that.
Yep. Well, James isn't streaming anymore on Twitch, but we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're on all the other places. You can email the show. It's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. Half the show is on Twitter, so follow us on Twitter. It's @ComputerGamePod on Twitter. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, all the rest. You've got to go to YouTube because yesterday, by the time you hear this, the highlights of James's final episode of James Plays Heavy Rain is on our YouTube channel. Just search for the Computer Game Show on there. And there's loads of stuff on there over the last week or two, so get involved.
Yeah, we're going to try and push our YouTube content a little bit, aren't we? So, yeah. I think that's probably going to be my next stream. Trying to find that last Auburn crackdown. It's got to happen. I mean, I've got the game. I can just transfer the file, like the save file, and then boom, we're away. Might be boring, but there you go. Right, okay. Thanks for living it, everyone. For those of you that want to stick around, we're going to do the spoiler chat with James Farley to talk about his playthrough. If you don't care about spoilers for that game and you've not played it, then please watch the video first, because a lot of the stuff isn't going to make sense unless you do. But we'll catch you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Okay, I'm back. Is anyone else back?
So, James, Heavy Rain then?
Yeah.
So, let's just explain. You, the ending of your game, literally everyone died except for the killer.
Yes.
Except for Scott.
That's exactly what happened, yeah. Everybody that could die did die at the same point, yeah.
So my favourite moment of your last episode was the reveal. The kids are playing, the brother dies, you know the brother's name, you don't know the kid that doesn't die's name. And then he shouts, it calls him Scotty.
Yeah.
And then instantly you're going, oh, fuck. And then there's the big, flashback sequence where you're seeing everything. And there's just so much that you sort of had to piece together, and it slowly started to click. Oh, yeah, when that weird scene, and I was laughing at that weird scene in the clock shop.
Yeah, that still doesn't make sense, though. I want to talk about that. But go on.
Why doesn't it make... Oh, well, let's go through. You've written 26 points, is it?
All right, well,
let's go through them.
Can I tell you the good stuff about the game that I liked?
Go.
So the number one thing, first on the list, is Blake. He was amazing and such an amazing character, and just cheered me up. And I just wish he'd been in it more. Scott being the killer does make sense, like that. It does make sense.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
It totally makes sense. That's totally fine. And I was completely fine with that, and I did like...
Sean hasn't seen it yet, but Sean, during the bit where it reveals that Scott is the killer, James still went, yeah, okay, fine, but who hired him?
Yeah. And then the chat is like, no one hired him, James.
It's fucking brilliant.
But yeah, I liked all the callbacks to the stuff that he'd done, and it did make some things seem more reasonable. Like, especially like with the suicide baby and all that kind of stuff.
Well, can you please stop saying, because you said that on the stream loads. It wasn't a suicide baby. It was a woman who was trying to commit suicide.
And she had a baby in the
house.
And her
baby.
Yeah.
But it's not a suicide baby.
Well, you know what I mean? It's the, what's going on with that?
The best bit about, obviously, they reveal Sky's the killer, and then it replays loads of scenes. The best bit about that is that James was like, oh, so that's what happens if I did that scene properly. Oh, that's what happens if I did that scene. Like, it was a massive eye-opener. Like, oh, so that's what happens. Okay, that scene probably would have made sense had I played it properly.
That's still bollocks, though, right? And the reason that is bollocks is because the whole point with this game, as I understand it, is that it's supposed to be like your experience, as in like didn't David Cage say, "Don't go back and replay it. Whatever you do is your game." And
he did, yeah. And but you, as you said, you do. That's a callback. You said you were satisfied with how that game played out based on what you'd experienced.
I was.
It kind of works, right?
But that doesn't mean that I haven't got problems with large parts of the game. I mean,
come on, then. Let's go through it.
So anyway, that's the good stuff. The bad stuff. Okay, the voice acting.
The good stuff was Blake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blake and Scott being the killer.
Basically, yeah. The bad stuff. The voice acting is really variable, but mostly bad. I mean,
yeah, it's bad.
Especially, I mean, Lauren in particular was really terrible, and her accent...
Who you consistently just referred to as the prostitute throughout your whole playthrough.
But also, her accent kept on going all over the place, and so did Ethan's. Did anyone notice that? His accent was all over the place. It was really...
I genuinely didn't notice that at the time.
I thought Ethan's is okay, but Norman's is terrible.
Yeah, Norman's is really bad, yeah. This is what I'm saying, like, Blake was the only one that sounded convincing. Nobody else did.
Well, half of them are European actors, that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't help.
But yeah, because I was looking up Norman Jayden, like the actor was him, but he's from the UK, I think.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange. But anyway, so you got that. There's also like the bad visual glitches, which happen quite frequently, but again, that's maybe just because it's a port or whatever. But particularly with Scott Shelby, that happens a lot. Like really weird.
I want to see some PS4 footage from that to see how it compares.
You mean PS3, yeah?
PS3, yeah, sorry.
Because
I want to see some PS3 footage of that, just to see if all that weird mouth opening stuff was actually in the game, like back then. Because I didn't really have a problem with it at the time. There were a few animation stuff, bits and pieces, like the walking and that was notoriously weird. But I mean, the facial animation stuff, I don't really remember that.
It's pretty bad in this, but so you got that. But then there's also these are just general points. Then I'm going to get some more sort of specific ones. There's poor dialogue. I mean, the conversations between the characters is generally poor. I mean,
especially when the kid's dying, that is like really bad. Okay, he's a drunk father, but I mean, come on.
It's ridiculous. It's either like, I mean, there's generally like a lot of like really poor exposition that goes on.
Oh yeah,
like,
loads of it.
Especially, I mean, I remember when, you know, there's that bit where they have the flashback to what happened to, like, John and Scott. And then after that, Lauren just summarises what's just happened. And it's like, what was that for?
And I liked your comment with that. And thanks for the recap.
And it's almost like we've just watched it. Like, we don't need to know again. And then also the transitions between the conversations is often really awkward as well. But, I mean, I guess that's part of the whole, because, you know, you're choosing which sort of angle you want to take with it, but it makes it just look really unrealistic. I mean, the worst example of that was that scene, you know, with Blake and Norman, you know, where he's like describing what's going on and you can decide to be aggressive and it just escalates so quickly from nothing and it just, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Like, yeah, it's proper binary, isn't it?
Yeah.
But again, sorry to cut in, but, what I loved about your stream, like big time, was that you just said things that entered your brain as they entered them, and that's what made it so good. Like, like there was a bit, Sean, where you're walking through the graveyard, like this graveyard, you're trying to find John Shepherd's grave, and then he walks up and he noticed there's a plaque that says Irish plot, and then he walks around a little bit more, and then there's another plaque that says children's plot, and he goes, "What is it? They're just segregating everyone. What is this all about? What if you're an Irish child?" I love that. That was just so funny. That happened throughout the game where you would just blurt out the first thing in and that's what made you, when I said earlier, I think I've worked out what's made you so good at streaming. That's definitely it. There was no filter. There was no holding back. There was no thinking about what you were saying.
Yeah.
It was literally just...
There's no character. There's no like... It was just, this is all my thoughts on each situation. This is the point where you're questioning everything sometimes it felt almost for the sake of it, like, why you wouldn't say that or that wouldn't happen? But yeah, those were arguably the funniest
when Scott
moments.
Shelby was walking around the office and leaning on things. Why is he leaning on everything?
It was weird, though, wasn't it?
Is he trying to look cool? I tell you, your laughter when you saw the club for the first time, the nightclub, because everyone was just getting off with each other in the halls.
I'll tell you what, though, that bit I was watching back earlier, that bit with his his dressing gown or whatever.
Oh yeah, she wears that.
It was absolutely ridiculous. He's like, saying, "Oh, sorry, I borrowed your dressing gown," and it's like, there's no way that's his. He couldn't fit in that. It's impossible.
I didn't have that scene in mind because I think the bit where you caressed her.
Yeah.
I let her go because I remember thinking at the time, I don't want to wrapped in this.
It's inappropriate.
Well, no, it was just that should have been my full process, but it was more that I don't know what I'm getting myself into, and I don't want her to die, so I sort of let her go at that point.
I just wanted to see what would happen if you chose caress, which is such a weird thing to choose.
You just wanted to see her in the shower, didn't you, Joan? Go on then, let's go down this list.
So then there's also the other thing that I thought is not so good is like really like the heavy-handed transitions, between stuff like. He's always like beating you over the head with like the meaning of what you're supposed to be looking at. Like there's like the news reports all the time to like keep telling you what's happening with the story, which is pretty bad. There's also, the worst example of it is like Ethan's transition as well. Between like at the beginning of the game, you've got how wonderful his life is, and then it just goes to shit, and it's just done so heavy-handedly that it doesn't feel so good.
Yeah, I agree.
There's that, and then the controls were my enemy through most of this game.
I've never seen a man struggle with controls as much as you.
I've never ever had problems like this with controls. It's ridiculous, but they're really poorly implemented. I can't imagine what this was like playing with the PlayStation
You say
Move.
that. I never had any problems with the controls themselves. I knew what I was doing at all time. And the majority, when you watch it, the majority of you fucking up with the controls seem to be you not understanding the button prompts. Because there's stuff where I'm looking at it and thinking, shouldn't he be furiously tapping the button now? And you clearly don't, because you can hear your controller movements on the microphone. And I'm thinking, actually, you've just misread the fucking QTE there. That's why you fouled that.
See, I've got a tiny excuse for this, right? Which is a ridiculous excuse, but I haven't played PlayStation for like many years, for a long time. And
I was thinking this.
No, it's true though, and I'm not. I still haven't quite got used to the not the button layout, but the circle, square, and all that kind of stuff. I'm still
the
not
button layout.
Yeah, I'm not basically the button layout. I'm not completely comfortable with it, and that's one of the other reasons why I have trouble with that.
No, I was thinking that at the time. Actually, I was thinking it'd probably be better at this if it was on Xbox.
Yeah,
but Sean, what you don't know is that the last episode that James streamed was 50 minutes long,
right? Or
around 50 minutes long. 10 minutes of which he spent trying to just do a very simple QTE to unpick a lock, and he just at one point he goes, "Chen, can you do this for me?" And you hear, I don't know if you can hear it in the edit, but you can just hear in the background, "No."
That bit is so good. That's so good, because I'm sure at one point you say you refer to it as if like, "Oh, I'm not going to ask for help," or I think someone said, "Ask your wife," and you're like joking. And then at one point you said, "Oh yeah, by the way, Chen, can you do it?" Like no one actually expected your wife just to be next to you, and that's why it's so funny to say, "Can you do it?" No, I'm not going to do it. That was amazing because we just had the reveal at that point. We just had basically I'm sure something massive happened just for that bit. Yeah. And wow, the reveals happened. Oh my god, it's Scott. This is incredible. Loads of things that happened, and then it's just like the next quick scene. But arguably, that felt like the real finale of the game.
It was
like 10 minutes struggling against the door.
My favourite bit is when James goes, "I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do."
I got to the stage where I was because there was quite a lot of people. Well, there seemed to be quite a lot of people watching by this point, and I was getting more and more nervous because I was thinking I'm just stuck at this door and I can't open it, and I genuinely didn't know what I was going to do. I was starting to get quite nervous because it was very embarrassing. and awful.
It's fucking hilarious. You'd know this if you've seen the videos by now, but I did an edit last night where I sped some stuff up towards the end, and then when I watched it today, I was like, that hasn't quite worked. So I went back home and I edited it again, where there was, instead of like the gaps between James talking sped up, I sped up some of the talking as well, because it's quite funny to hear him like sort of and all that, like all that sort of stuff. And then I thought, actually, this isn't as good either. So I've literally just put the whole thing in there completely unedited. So you get to watch James struggle with a door for 10 minutes on the YouTube channel.
But the thing is, right, is that was awful. But then also, just in general, I just hated the controls, and I just felt I never found it enjoyable to sort of try and figure out, like what I was, the way that I was supposed to, the button combinations and stuff, and it took me out of the game. Like, it made it feel less immersive to me.
Yeah, but it's definitely your fault.
I don't know, Matt.
At one point, at the start of one of the episodes, it starts off with Scott Shelby, and James thought the game had crashed, but only after, it felt like hours, but it's probably like a minute or two, and then you realise, you got to press a button to then move him, but you're like, it's crashed, I'm going to start again, this is unbelievable.
I've completely forgotten. It had been a week. I hadn't played it for a week, and I completely forgot that you had to hold down one of the buttons to make him walk. And so,
James, it is that was definitely your fault.
That was totally my fault. Yeah,
we've all played through it and not had a problem with the controls.
Yeah, you were struggling. So every time it was a QT, you're like, oh god, not a QT.
It was reading the QT prompts and understanding them. You never quite got to grips with that.
I lost Norman because of this. This is one of the reasons why. Because
it was controls and also just blind panic. Every time there's a QT, we're like, God, you were panicking so badly.
I know, I didn't.
Can I give myself a pat on the back as well, because I thought the edit was hilarious where he said, "Oh no, he's not going to die, is he?" And then just cut to him being crushed into that massive machine.
Wait, hang on. How did you? So you lost everyone, right? So, it's been a long time since I played Heavy Rain. I didn't lose anyone. So I'm intrigued to hear how all of these deaths happened.
Should I just tell you how they all died?
First one was Jaden, right?
Yeah. Jaden died because he got crushed in a crushing machine. The
car crusher thing. Yeah.
Again, right, in that scene, there's loads of button prompts, loads of things. James was like, I'm going to die. He was freaking out he was going to die the second he woke up in that car, basically. And there was loads of things you sort of half did the prompt and didn't quite finish it enough, and then you're like, there's no way out, I'm dead. Like, there was a way out, but he just panicked.
He kept honking the horn.
Yeah, you're like, and you're like, guys, help me. You're like bleeding with the chat to help you.
I was pressing the horn. I pressed the horn and I was like, that's not going to help in any way. And it was
and then you pressed the horn another 4 times. Right, okay, so that was that. Then the next death was Madison, was it?
No. The next one was Lauren. She died in under the water.
Yeah. To quote you, James, that was unavoidable and unnecessary death.
It was, yeah.
All of them were, really.
Yeah, that one, again, was because I didn't know what the sequence was there. Like, I didn't know that I had to, get her out first before I broke the window. To me, it made sense at the time, but,
You thought that once you break the window and the water starts gushing in, then you'll get her free.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
then you're free. Right?
I don't know.
Okay, excellent.
Again, I messed up with that one. That was
you
a
can
mistake.
save her there, can't you? I think I remember that you can save her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she died. Although Scott didn't seem that bothered about that. Although then he went.
He's a mass murderer. He don't really care, does he?
But then he goes and does he goes to the place, to go do the shooting. You remember that? The mansion.
Yeah, but that bit was a bit weird.
That bit was amazing, because you basically ran in, shot some people and ran out. You didn't even get to the end of the scene. How did it happen that you didn't even get to the end of that scene?
Because he missed a few of the shots. So he got shot back and then ran out.
Scott Shelby driving into the mansion, smashing into it, going in, shooting a couple of people, getting shot and then running away.
That was so good.
I like the fact that he was shot as well, and then that was never referred to after that. Yeah. The man was shot
several times.
It was just.
It was not so good.
Yeah. When Scott as the killer was revealed, and then James saw the actual ending of that scene, that makes more sense. Yeah.
So next was Madison, I think. She died because she jumped out of a window.
This was...
You're going to hate
this
the solution
so
to this.
Is this the one in the flat with the... You're supposed to get in the freezer?
It said, he went to the window after basically thinking that was the only option. And Madison's like, if I jump from here, I'm probably going to die. And
no, she didn't say that. She
definitely said that. She said, if I jump from here, I'm going to die, or definitely words to that effect. And you're like, well, okay, I'll just lower myself out gently. No, don't fall. Oh, you're dead.
Because she didn't. She got out. Okay, the way she jumped out of the window was ridiculous.
If I go this way, I'm as good as dead.
No, it was her fault. She almost took a running jump and jumped out the window. So why would you do that? And then
James also had to hold himself back from calling her a stupid cow as she was doing it.
Yeah,
Liv, watch it. It's fucking.
This sounds horrific. How graphic was it?
Not very.
No, she just fell, and then there's a body on the ground.
Okay,
but it said, if I do this, I'm going to die. But there is a way to save her.
That didn't make any sense because previously to this, Ethan had jumped. I'd made him jump off a building, and he jumped off backwards, so he was going to land on his head, and he was fine. There was no problem there. So, anyway, so that was annoying.
Do you want to know how to save her? Because you'll love the solution to this.
What was ridiculous about it was the building was about to explode, so I thought, well, if I go back in there, definitely she's going to die.
Well, no, because if you're in the building when it explodes, you survive.
Yeah.
How?
By getting in the fridge.
What?
Yeah.
So just
you can get in the fridge and survive the explosion.
Yep.
That's what I did.
That's what I did.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, who was next? Okay. Who's next on the list?
The death list.
Then it was
James Farley's
Sean.
list.
Yeah, Sean died obviously but that was also ridiculous because he didn't have the address details and everything, and so he just gave up. Why didn't
he have the address details?
Because I fucked up previously,
there we go.
All the stuff. But yeah,
there we go.
So that didn't work.
So did you realise? When I was saying that I can't wait for you to complete a task so you could see what happens.
Yeah.
The whole point in doing the task was that you got a bit of the address of where your son was.
Yeah.
So wait. So did you not have that final bit at where Sean was being?
Oh no!
Oh my God!
That's what we were talking about.
I mean, the ending was so.
He drowned Sean. He drowned in the pipe, and that was it.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
What happens is what was really funny. It just shows you the pipe because Ethan didn't make it there.
Yeah.
And nor did Norman, and nor did Madison. So there was no scene to be had there. And then all of a sudden, it was it just showed a news thing going, the origami killer has killed another one.
Yeah, that was so. I've never seen that before. That's so random. You basically didn't have the whole end scene.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. So anyway, right.
So then after that, you've got that, and then the last person, obviously, is the last shot is of Ethan shooting himself in the head. So that was it.
Jesus.
He just points the gun at himself and blows his head
off.
Which
also doesn't make any sense. But yeah, go on.
And again, on the stream, it was incredible because you're sitting there, you watch Ethan turn the gun on his head, blow his own head off, drop out of scene, you hear the chair hit the floor, and James just goes, right, so I've killed everyone.
and isn't the last shot basically Scott Shelby just walking down the road,
walking away with a big grin on his face?
So Shelby survived, right? Okay.
Yeah, of course, the killer.
Thank God for that. The whole thing. It's awful. But okay, can I now drill down to the stuff that doesn't make sense?
Can I just point out, right? This game's got a ton of endings, and you got the worst possible one.
The worst one possible. Let me just do a couple of things, right? Before you carry on with your list, the fact that you kept going, well, why didn't he go to the police? Well, because he was the only one that could get the evidence that was giving him
absolute
the location of where Sean was.
Bollocks.
Go on.
That's complete bollocks. Okay, this is one of the things, right? Because one of the things on my list is why did none of the people in this game go to the police? None of them. First of all, why did all the other parents that had lost kids, why did they all conceal evidence and give it to Scott Shelby and not the police?
Well, because again, they were obviously going through those trials or whatever. That's the way I took it. They must have gone through that trial stuff and all that, and to hold that back, after they were dead anyway. It just kind of feels that dead? You're admitting to concealing evidence, I guess.
But why did they conceal it in the first place? Why didn't they go to the police?
Well, again, because the only way they could get the address is by doing these trials.
Yeah, but you don't know
if they
that.
give it to if they give it to
at no point in the game did Scott Shelby say to them, "If you go to the police, Sean will die." At no point was that said.
No, but whoa. That's not what I'm saying. Is that after you do the first trial, you get a bit of the address of where your child is. Now, what are you going to do? Go, okay, well, police, can you try and get the rest of the address out of him?
Because
or are you going to try yourself?
No, that's not true, though, because Ethan received, he got the box, which had all of the figures in. So, first, also, right, why does he open each of the origami figures one at a time?
I don't know that. You're obsessed by that. I don't know.
Because that doesn't make any sense, does it? I mean, he's got all of the
dramatic effect, I guess, because it's a computer game and not real life.
That's complete bollocks, though. You can't say that because the whole point of this game
say what I want, James.
No, you don't. Okay. The whole point of this game was it's supposed to be realistic. That was David Cage's idea, right? Was it supposed to be a realistic kind of thing, right? That doesn't make any sense. Right. My big question, though, why does Ethan have blackouts?
Oh, we don't know. I think that is just pure red herring.
That is red herring stuff. Yeah.
How does he get the origami figures in his hand after each blackout?
Well, they're not. He doesn't necessarily have an origami figure in his hand, has he?
Well, he did.
He did what?
Well, he did have an origami figure in his hand.
You saw an origami figure in his hand. It didn't necessarily mean it was. That whole shit could have been a part of the dream, part of the blackout. You don't know the ins and outs of it, do you?
Right. Why did
he already knew about the origami killer before he had his first blackout? So it's perfectly valid to say that when he first found one of those origami figures in his hands, it was part of his blackout, part of his illusion.
But why does he have the blackouts in the first place?
I don't know.
Medical condition.
He went through trauma, didn't he? When he lost what's his face? Jason.
Yeah. Okay.
The first one. And they even sort of mention that sort of stuff when he's talking to the psychologist, don't they?
Okay. Why did none of the other fathers try the trials?
Well, I think they
How
did,
do you know
didn't
they
they?
didn't try
Yeah,
the
I think that's the implication, is that because, all the mums are like, oh yeah, and then he just fucked off and never came back. I thought the implication was that they'd gone to do a trial and it presumably died in the attempt. Yeah.
Right, okay. But also, why didn't they contact the police?
Well, again, because they wanted to. They saw the only way to get there.
If you've got a bunch of people, are you going to let me answer? No, if you've got a bunch of people doing this, the police would be able to see a pattern, surely.
Well, I don't know, mate.
Ethan doesn't go to the police because he knows that top FBI agent Narman Jaden is on the case. He's got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. That's been taken care of.
I'm assuming. I'm able to take the leap that they didn't go to the police because they thought they could get the evidence that that the police would never be able to get.
Makes no sense. But anyway,
also they were desperate.
It does make sense.
It doesn't. It makes no sense at all. But anyway,
okay.
Next,
I mean, you're not addressing it. You're just saying it makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Why would you conceal evidence? It doesn't make any sense to do that.
Because they haven't got the evidence yet, have they?
Well, they got the pieces of origami. I mean,
but they haven't got the location of their child, have they, James?
I know, but if you'd have taken, for example, Ethan's got that shoebox full of evidence, basically. He's got there's the gun in there, there's that crappy flash card and all that kind of stuff. He's also got all those tiny bits of origami. Why didn't he take those to the FBI, to Norman Jaden, and get him to have a look at that and then try and figure it out?
Because they thought the only way they could get the location of their child is by doing these trials.
So just by doing what the killer said, and they thought that would work out better than.
Well, I mean, it would have done if you hadn't have fouled them all.
Anyway.
What? I mean, I don't know about you, Sean. Did you find Sean? Was Sean still alive on yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt, did Sean survive yours as well?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, he obviously survived mine as well.
That's totally irrelevant.
I mean, you can argue all you want,
that is completely irrelevant.
But we all did it right.
I know, maybe you did, but that still doesn't make it any less shit. The way that it's put across.
I don't know. You wouldn't know. You didn't do it right. I mean, if you did it right, then you might be able to call it shit.
I mean, so it's worth pointing out. So David Cage's whole vision for this was it doesn't matter if you fail. You still get a complete story no matter what. It's all written so that it all sort of works out one way or the other. But from what I'm hearing, Farley's had a worse story. Like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, it didn't. Oh, hold on. It didn't say that it would be a better. Yeah. There wouldn't be no better or worse endings. Yeah. And what is a worse ending? What is a better ending? Yeah. Like James's story was tragic, but that was just a tragic story.
But, to be fair, that's totally what he's into. So.
Yeah. I think, I mean, when you're a father trying to find your lost son who you love, but instead you walk through the coward exit, then that's the story you end up with.
Yeah.
Anyway, next
walking through the coward exit.
That was also a misunderstanding. But anyway, what is the connection between the rain and what is going on?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Because his brother drowned.
I know, but why? Okay, Norman Jayden starts talking like during that the briefing thing. He talks about the fact that the killer does it. It's that they keep flashing up how much rain there's been during the day and everything. What is that about?
Because that's how his brother died.
Yeah, I know that's how his brother died. But is there some sort of supernatural thing for this rain? Why does it keep raining all the time?
No, it's just when it rains, he kills people.
But that's a really inefficient way to do it. How does he know when it's going to rain?
Mate, I don't think he's after efficiency. He's just putting these people through what his brother went through. Yeah. Go on, next point.
Okay, how did Scott kill the guy in the typewriter shop without Lauren noticing? There was nowhere near enough time for him to do that. There is nowhere near enough time for him to have done that. And to have also made a phone call and also have gone through all those files. That's impossible.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that. Yep.
Okay. Why did Scott investigate the killer so thoroughly when he is the killer? Why not just discard any evidence?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned this because a couple of weeks ago when this came up, I said are you making sure you press the button to listen to the character's thoughts? Mm-hmm. Because when you do that, there's a couple of occasions where Scott is sincerely like, "Oh man, we need to catch this origami killer," and it's like, "But you're him." And the only way you would think that in your own head is if you know I'm listening to your thoughts and you're trying to mislead me.
He's got all this, he's got all the evidence and stuff that's being given to him. Why not just get rid of it? Why go through this elaborate charade, that he goes through with it all?
What do you mean?
Why go through all the stuff with Lauren? There's no point at all to any of that. He could have just destroyed any of that evidence and it wouldn't have mattered.
I think wasn't it implied that he was trying to set that rich bloke's kid up to be the origami killer?
I can't remember.
I don't even remember that.
Bit of a leap. I can't remember, but I that rings a bell because he was obsessed with that kid's son, and it felt like he was trying to set him up to be the origami killer to make sure he got Scott Shelby free.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next
is towards the end, the hospital said that nobody visited Scott's mum ever, and then we see him visiting earlier.
No, we see him looking through the. To be fair, we see him looking through the door, looking at her.
Right.
We don't see him visiting her, do we?
We see him in the room looking at her.
No, he was outside in the hall looking through the doorway, wasn't he?
Wasn't he standing in the room?
I don't know about that. I think you should watch it again.
Anyway, okay, this is just a stupid one, but
I love Batterdy's back.
Why has a 10-year-old got a subscription to an origami magazine?
That was one of my favourite comments, especially when you said, hang on, so they've narrowed down the list. So this kid, it's people who have got subscriptions and people who have had their typewriter fixed recently. and the kid was on both the lists.
James, are you seriously answering that question?
I'm not asking that question, it's ridiculous.
Oh, good. No, he's just realised. Go on.
Okay, why was Jayden still on the drugs, even though I flushed them? That doesn't make any choice. That
doesn't solve addiction, does it, James?
Yeah, but doesn't that make the choice that I made completely pointless? What was the point of doing that?
Yeah, I thought he got off him if you flush him, and then that's him on the mend.
But I think it's quite sweet that you think that addicts could simply just flush drugs down the toilet and they'll be fine.
I'm just saying, they made this big thing about, are you going to reject the drugs or are you going to take the drugs? So I was like, yeah, I'm going to reject the drugs. And then the next scene, he's got the drugs again. So what's the point of that?
The drugs were only there to help the withdrawal, though, right? He wasn't addicted to the drugs. He was addicted to the drugs, but they weren't the main problem. The main problem was the AR glasses, right?
The great glasses.
Oh, okay. I thought he was just addicted to the drugs.
Yeah.
No, because doesn't that the weird waiter guy come over and say, "Oh, you got to watch out, I'm wearing those glasses too much"? And
no, it was the drug. It was definitely the drug he was addicted to.
You can die by wearing the AI glasses for too long.
Really?
Someone should tell Blake.
Yeah, you could die from wearing the glasses.
He only
for
put
too
on
long,
one for a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, that was the whole point, wasn't it? Because he was like, he didn't know whether he should wear them or not, and then he totally freaked out when he put them on. I think there was something like that, because I remember thinking, isn't it weird that he's addicted to AR glasses and they're fucking him up physically?
It wasn't, it was the drug or something, I don't know, but it's... Anyway.
Well, you don't know, do you? Go on.
Well, neither do you. Anyway.
I think I do, because I saw more of the game than you did.
Okay, next one is, I already talked about this, it's like, how can Ethan fall off a building and survive falling backwards onto his head, but medicine can't?
Well, the wooden platform breaks his fall, doesn't it?
Okay. Next one.
Batten and back.
No, next one is this one, okay? This is a big one.
I'm winding up. I've got my baseball bat in my hand.
Just before we move on, so I'm looking at a wiki. Jaden, because it's tryptocane that he's addicted to, and he uses tryptocane to null the negative effects of the Ari glasses, but develops an addiction to it.
Go.
So yeah, you're right.
Thank you. Go on.
Oh,
sorry, Dave.
So but what's he addicted to then?
He's addicted to the tryptocane, but he was taking that to null the effects of his daft glasses, fancy glasses.
But Dave said he was addicted to the glasses.
Well, I did say he was addicted, but as a side effect of being addicted to the glasses.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, fine, thanks.
Okay,
go on.
Next.
That's fair enough. Go on.
Fuck off. Anyway, next one is this one, okay? Just let me finish with all of this, okay, before you start having a go at me, alright?
Okay.
Okay. Why did Scott target Ethan? Okay?
Oh my god,
listen. Sure.
It's beautiful.
No, listen.
It's beautiful.
Listen to me, right? Sure, he lost a kid, right? But but listen, right? He was trying to save him, which is the opposite of Scott's dad, right?
Yeah.
Now, also, he's already proven that he was willing to die to save his son, because he jumped in front of that car. So
he's already better than Scott's dad.
Yeah. So why did he target Ethan?
I don't know.
Well, before I get to that, right, I love the fact that throughout the whole game, you were going, Ethan's such a shit dad.
He is.
Oh, what an awful dad. He's a totally shit dad. Well, it wasn't that bad when it gets to the point where it just proved everything you said was right.
He was a terrible...
Why did you do
he was a terrible...
but
that's the thing, right? Ethan was a fuck-up, like, through the whole thing, right? Which...
Yeah.
But
that's why he was targeted.
But that's completely different to his dad being like a massive alcoholic, like just a horrible person. It's like
wasn't he a horrible person because he was an alcoholic? Because he fucked up.
No, Ethan fucked up because he's an idiot. The dad fucked up because he was just not very nice. There's a difference between them.
Nah. I mean,
hang on. So, Dave, are you seriously saying that Ethan is exactly the same as Scott Shelby's dad?
No, it's just...
No one has said that. Why do you always make these mad leaps in what I say?
Because that's what you're saying. If you...
Sean, I'm pretty sure that James has another David Turner in his head that just says stuff that I never say. And he just goes, because
you're saying, you just said to me, right, that I said during the whole game that Ethan was a terrible dad. Right? And that's true, I did say that. And then you're saying, and now you're getting annoyed that, that the game has proven you right with that. And I'm saying, no, there's a difference between the two of them, though.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Why did Jason die?
Well, he died because, what's his name, Ethan couldn't get his hand in his pocket quickly enough to pay for that balloon. You
said throughout that game that he died because Ethan wasn't looking after him properly.
He wasn't.
You said that
he
countless
still tried
times.
To save him, and he still was willing to sacrifice his life.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he'd already made a mistake at that point.
So he didn't look after his son properly. So Scott,
and then he was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice just to try and by getting run over.
Actually, watching the stream back, I don't remember seeing the scene, but did you see the scene where Scott was in the crowd when the kid died?
No.
Oh my god, that's like a big reveal bit. Maybe that's in the last 20 minutes, but Scott is actually in the crowd when Ethan jumps out in front of
sees him trying to save his son's life in the way that his father couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, but he also saw him just let his son walk out of a shopping centre.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't looking
after him. He was chasing after him. It's not like he was chasing after him. It's not like he was sitting there having having a drink.
There's no way.
Like, you can't win on this one. It doesn't. There's no.
I can win.
You can't
because what I can
it doesn't
do,
make any sense.
Because what I can do, James, is go through your stream and cut every moment where you said how shit of a dad Ethan was.
That's absolutely true,
right?
but he's shit
and then
for
play
a different reason. He's shit because he's an idiot, not because he's a horrible person. There's a difference.
Come on.
No, it's not about being a horrible person. It's just like he was a shit dad. He took his eye off the ball. It wasn't focused on the kid at that point, just like his own dad. And then brother died, it drowned. And in this case,
James,
no, because
you can't
the
spend
dad,
hours and hours talking about how shit of a parent Ethan is to now turn around and go, no, he wasn't.
I'm not saying
bad.
he was a good parent, but I am saying that he was willing to still try to save his son, whereas the other guy wasn't. And there's a big difference between that.
How hard was he prepared to try?
He was prepared to jump in front of a fucking car.
That's what Scott wanted to find out. That's what Scott wanted to find out, yeah? Okay? And also, Scott is a mass murderer. I don't think that he's completely gives a shit on the technicalities of what he was doing. I think he just wanted to find a father that was prepared to die for his son, James.
Which he proved right at the beginning of the game by jumping in front of that car.
We just see him jump in front of the car with his back towards the car, but the kid died and Ethan survived.
Yeah, the kid dying made no sense either.
I've got a feeling that once he was out of shot, Ethan then chucked Jason under the wheels, sort of span his body and chucked him under the wheels to save himself.
Someone beer me and someone chucked a bud and he downed it and walked off. Got a bus home.
Does anyone...
I'm going back to a one-bedroom apartment.
Does anyone want another... Norman Jayden fact from the Wikia page. It mentions, among other things, he is very experienced in fighting as he can kill Mad Jack and the Origami Killer quite easily without obtaining any bleeding or swelling wounds.
Good fact.
Unless you're James Farley and he's like a fucking grinder.
Okay, James, I'm nearly done with this.
The whole film of the game was bad. The whole theme of the game is bad parenting. You called it from the first moment.
I'm not disputing that, but what I'm saying is the motivation for choosing... No, the motivation for choosing Ethan was fucked up and didn't make any sense, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so's killing children, James. But what, were you going to have a go at Scott for that as well?
See, you're okay. You're happy to sort of discard logic when it suits you, but then as soon as... If I ever do that, you're on me about it. It makes no sense.
No, he's not doing that. Basically, the theme is bad parenting. He saw that he was a bad parent because he let Jason go out of sight for a bit, and then he's punishing him for that, and that's what he's punishing all the other dads who are shit parents, just like his dad was a shit parent. But Matt,
that's what I like about it so much, is that James called the theme and he was repeatedly saying how bad of a parent Ethan is, and now he's saying, well, he's not that bad.
Because he's an idiot, not because he's a horrible person.
Well,
there's a difference.
If he's an idiot or nice or whatever, it's not about the person, it's about bad parenting. And that's the thing.
Scott's got a little notebook saying, is he...
So in your world, there's no context at all for anything.
What's idiot to bad person percentage is this?
I know, David, in your world, there's no context at all, and it's like somebody's either good or they're bad, and it's like fine, but you know.
Where has that come from? What are you talking about?
Anyway, let's move on.
James, what was that?
Because that's what you're saying. You're just saying, okay. You're saying
I'm not, dude. It's the Turner in your head again.
No, you're saying
you need to start working
You're saying
out
that Ethan is exactly the same as Scott's father.
No, I'm not.
It's just bad parenting.
So would you say that there is a difference between them?
Yes.
Right. So can you not see how illogical it is then to choose for Ethan to be the target?
No, because it's Scott, isn't it? It's not me. James, again. There's a little Turner in your head.
No,
you need to start working out who's talking between me or the guy in your head.
Fuck off, David. Anyway,
don't tell me to fuck off. You're just accusing me of shit.
No, I'm not accusing you of shit. You're just trying to. You're not listening to what I'm saying, and you're just trying to. You're just playing.
I am. It's a fucking well funny. Go on.
Anyway, the relationship between Madison and Ethan makes no sense.
It's getting late. The what?
The relationship between Madison and Ethan makes no sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
I agree.
Yeah, totally. That was so
I mean, the sex scene, right?
Ethan... let me just get that straight. Okay. When you're talking relationship, you're talking about the fucking. correct?
That cut out then, but I'm assuming you're talking about the sex bit.
Yeah, that's what I said. Essentially, yeah, you're just talking about the sex bit.
That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, same. I agree.
Like emotionally, for one thing, yes, that makes no sense. But also just for the fact that Ethan probably hasn't slept or washed in days,
and he's missing a finger,
He just cut his finger off.
Yeah, and his body would hurt so much. But let's fuck.
just wanted cheering up.
It's like, no, like, you enjoyed the idea of that, Matt.
It fucks me off because it's just so clear that scene is like, it's not there for the characters, it's there for the player. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, would these characters have sex? It's, do you want to see these characters have sex? Push a button, mate. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, the same. Do you want to see her in the shower? Just push a button, mate. You didn't know, but you could get totally topless when you were doing that dance for that man, and then saying, "What is it? You go, girl." Oh, it's just
that bit of dialogue really stuck out when she was like,
"Yeah, it's bad."
She was like,
it's bad.
"Oh, I'm so glad I got information. You go, girl." I can't believe you didn't pick up on that, James. I was like, she wouldn't have ever. Oh, it was so weird.
But James was finishing off. That's why. Yeah. Oh, she's changed her bra since the...
Actually, she didn't rip the dress. She didn't really rip the skirt that straight, did she?
My favourite bit with that whole thing was the fact that he had the same coat and the lampshades were the same as his coat. I love that.
Match. James reminded me of David Brent when he was watching porn. When he says about it, goes, "Oh, there's not more." He's like, "Oh, there is more." Go on, is there anything else, James?
I got one more
go to bed now.
Thing. Okay, just one last thing. Had Madison met Scott Shelby before?
Yes, and I thought about that as well. I don't know. I don't know how they link that.
Because I'm just wondering, like, when she's in the hospital and
she's told the name.
Yeah, and she's all shocked, and it's like, well, how does she know him?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I remember thinking that at the time, that didn't quite work, that maybe something was cut out, or you could probably explain it away that she was a journalist, but then how? I don't know. No, I'm totally with you on that one.
Yeah, it's not clear at all.
That's probably the biggest plot hole in the whole thing, I think.
So my memory is hazy, but how does the last scene go? Because I know that there was a massive bit missing, but what actually happens in the...
Well, they all turn up, don't they? And then Scott fights them on the conveyor belt thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it depends, like, it depends who made it first, I think.
Yeah.
So, once you get out of the burning building as Madison, she can then head off down to the location. If you do enough trials and work out where he was, if I remember my game, Ethan didn't make it to Sean, but Jaden and Madison did, and they fought Scott Shelby and saved Sean. But yeah, I mean, there's a big fight scene on the conveyor belt. That the whole thing about why he chooses the parents is explained a little bit more. You should definitely go and watch the alternative endings, James, to see if there's any other stuff there that might fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a confrontation between Ethan and Scott Shelby if they meet at where the drain is, where Sean is. So maybe some stuff said there, but yeah. There's like a whole 20-minute sequence where people could die at any point. All sorts happens that just doesn't happen because Ethan shoots himself and it's game over.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well. But yeah, I mean, a lot of that was my fault. It was, I mean, especially in the beginning, because in the beginning,
it was your fault.
Well, yeah, obviously, but in the beginning, I wasn't like really trying at all. I was just dicking around, really. But then, as I started to get into it, I did start to try, but it still went wrong, and that was it.
It's a good game. I thought it was good. I thought it was good for the time. It's obviously aged horribly, but I can't wait for you to play Beyond. It might be total shit, you streaming Beyond, but I think there's enough in there to make you go, "What the fuck is this?" Yeah, I can't wait for you to do the whole desert bit. That is incredible. That whole area is just mind-blowing weirdness. So I think you might like it. But I will say this. That is one excellent stream, James. That was an excellent job. Well. genuinely, not like, look at James. Like it was genuinely brilliant from start to finish.
For someone who wasn't really bothered about streaming, didn't really get it, it seemed like he never really rarely watched any. Yeah, it was amazing from start to finish. The bit with the great glasses, I thought that would have been the funniest bit, but the door bit was just, there was so many amazing bits in that. The bit with Jaden. The bit where he walks past
the vending machine and just goes, fruity fizz. Just those little bits as well. The bit with Jaden
on the piano is amazing. There's so many good bits.
Yeah. And I like it when something happens, like someone fires a shot or someone's about to run in front of a car or something. He just goes, "Way!" About 8 times. Way! Watch out for that, Sean. When you watch the highlights, so just look out for the bits where he goes, "Way!" It's fucking beautiful. Please do, please start Beyond next week.
I don't know.
Please. James, man, the content on that website at the moment, on our YouTube channel, is just so good, and we'll get more subscribers. Get on it.
I mean, if we're sticking with the David Cage
before
thing,
Detroit's out.
If we're sticking with David Cage, you can either play Beyond Two Souls or The Nomad Soul.
Yeah, so Beyond Two Souls it is. That's it. Yeah. We'll catch you next week. That went on for longer than I thought it would do. But there you go. Goodbye.
Night.
Goodbye.
Bye again.